chance to review the 129-26 minutes yet? Okay, sure.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Okay. Can I get a motion to approve the 129-26 minutes?
I'll make the motion.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay. I take it at the last meeting, Gil and Ray weighed in on them.
On these?
Yeah, okay.
Ray usually, if he has any changes, he puts them in early.
Okay.
And Gil's
Okay.
pretty good about that, too.
Yeah, I didn't have any comments to the minutes. We're not going to review or approve the 2/19/26 minutes. We're still reviewing. Next planning board meeting is scheduled for April 16th, 2026. And Dan, do you have some staff updates for us?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, actually, so tonight we actually have Josephine's here with us, Caselli, to give you some updates about the New York State, I guess, Building and Energy Code? Yeah, would you like to come up? And then we also have some other code stuff afterwards for.
Okay, so you all got a little summary document ahead of time, but as you may or may not know, New York State updated the Uniform Fire Prevention and Building Code. Is that better? Thank you. Effective December 31st of last year. The energy code doubled in size, and it's a little crazy, but one of the things I noticed, which I thought that the planning board might want to be aware of, because it might affect the look of buildings, new commercial buildings coming in, is the energy code is now requiring a renewable energy system on site, on a building, whether it's wind,
Every building,
every new commercial building.
commercial building, no
Commercial
matter the
building.
size.
Well, there are 4 exceptions. So if it is, so basically, renewable energy could be wind, it could be solar, it could be odd stuff like waves and biomass, waste and geothermal. But those most likely would be off-site. So they want something on the building, or it can be off-site if you meet one of 4 exceptions, right? Depending on how much the sun can hit the building, how much roof area, that kind of stuff. Or if the building is less than 5,000 square feet for gross condition floor area. So if that's the case, then you have to go on one of these long lists of sort of where to get it, which you have in your packet. And then presumably, you either need, so the generation source has to be located where the energy can be delivered to the building site by any of the following, which gets a little confusing because what's the point of off-site if it's somewhere out east where there's space to put large solar ground arrays? It's either a direct connection, so if you have a ground array next to the building perhaps, on another lot being off-site, or a local utility or distribution entity. So I take that to mean that PSE&G, you can give them the credits that you bought and they can give you the energy for free because they're going to take it from the off-site source. So if you have a solar array in Manorville, it's connected to PSE&G, you get so many kilowatts of time based on what you bought and based on a formula in the code. So you show them, here I am at this location here in Port Jeff, credit me this amount of energy. So it's
fee.
for the fee, yes, but not through PSE&G, it's through whoever's supplying the off-site energy. You could do it yourself as the building owner, buy a plot of land, have a solar array, or you can buy it from a renewable energy investment fund, green retail tariffs. It's getting, I foresee almost like a whole new
And-
business model coming.
Yeah. And how much of the energy has to be provided?
Well, it's based on the calculation, based on your gross floor area, so you need not less than 0.75 kilowatts, 75 watts per square foot multiplied by the sum of the gross conditioned floor area of all floors. I'm gonna worry about that at sort
Okay.
of building
Like
permits.
ballpark, would it be 20%? Would it
Yeah,
be,
I don't even know.
or is that
I'm gonna
calculation
I'm
make it?
gonna rely on the renewable energy certificates, the documentation to let me know and then check it. I'm thinking from a planning standpoint, do you wanna let people who are coming through the pipeline know if they're a mixed use or a commercial building? Do you wanna just let them know, oh,
So
by the way, you're gonna need to do this, come building
What
permit?
is, what is a commercial building?
So, they have a definition, so basically, the applicability section is, any commercial building, right? So any building that is not residential, right? So it could be an office building, it could be a storage facility, it could be, stores, or the building code has different occupancies, so they have
Right.
public assembly, which tend to be restaurants, churches, that kind of thing. Business, which could be public assembly, that's 50 occupants or less, or doctor's offices, or, like we are,
Yeah.
where.
I mean,
Doesn't
I
it
think
include mixed use
or-
with apartments and?
So it includes, so it applies to mixed use.
What about multifamily?
No.
It excludes
No.
multifamily.
So Mary Haven is
It's
all
interesting.
condos, that's under, it's only, so we're in a building, they do have a qualification. So if you have a mixed-use building that does not have no more than 3 stories above grade plane, that includes both residential and commercial, the commercial part is under the commercial energy code and the residential part is under the residential energy code. But the way I read it, you would still need the renewable energy source because it's still a commercial building being mixed use. But the apartments can follow the residential energy code, whereas the commercial part,
Okay. And this is all of New York State.
all of New York State.
Okay,
And
so
when does this kick in?
It did in
It did.
December,
Right.
December 31st, so.
Now, my concern was that we have a federal government that's working against green energy while we have a New York State government that's promoting it. And I was thinking, well, here we have the windmills, and
but would those qualify?
The windmills, Orsted
Yeah.
specifically? No, because it
No, yeah.
exists. It exists. But say, for instance, the federal government, like, creates a something that negates the state code. My assumption would be that the state code would issue a technical bulletin, which they do periodically throughout to provide either changes in the code or clarification for the code. Or they'd have to, retract some of it, but it's just new buildings going forward. It doesn't apply to anything existing.
and this is going to apply to some of the buildings we have in front of planning right now. Yeah.
So, and I just feel that, I don't know if you want to see what it's going to look like on the building, or you just want to alert people on the resolution, say, or on the staff report, so they're aware.
But wouldn't we have to address it in site plan because it's going to affect the way the building looks? So we would
Yes.
kind of have to know.
Yeah, that's up to you. I
Yeah.
just,
Yeah.
yeah,
To see that.
like if somebody's gonna put wind turbines on top of the building, or side wall-mounted solar panels, or all the conduits coming down.
So how are we going to adjust our personal village code to reflect anything in terms of eyesore issue?
I don't know that you
I
need
don't know
to,
how-
because there is something in the village code that says you have, like, all projects have to conform to the Uniform Fire Prevention Building Code, which is just essentially all the state building codes. So we sort of have that catch-all. I think it's in
I guess
100 and something. Does
just
that
like
make
when you
sense?
think about it, if you think of a windmill on top of a building,
Yeah.
That seems like,
I would think
'Cause
that
like
would
height
need,
and-
that would need
yeah.
a variance, so wouldn't
I
that
mean, we-
trigger a height
yeah.
variance?
I don't know,
Yeah,
that's what I'm
that's what I was
asking.
Trigger a height
Well, in all
variance.
probability,
you-
they would do solar panels, but then I was reading in the code that there are buildings that can't take advantage of solar panels because of
Right.
the, you know,
So is this kind of like carbon tax credits, though, where you, or however you put it, where
Sounds like it.
hypothetically
Yeah.
there could be a solar farm that has X amount of kilowatts available,
Yeah.
and you can just
You
pay
buy
them?
credits,
Yeah.
It's like Pine
like a
Barren credits.
renewable energy certificate, you
Yeah.
buy it from them.
Right.
And then presumably, because it says that the generation source shall be located where the energy can be delivered into the building,
Wait, oh,
by any of the following, right? So one is direct connection, which probably wouldn't work here because
Right.
there's not enough space. The other is the local utility or distribution entity. So my feeling on that
Okay.
is PSC&G will take the energy from this off-site solar farm
Right.
and then give you a monetary credit for it on your bill. But I'm not 100% sure because this is a big thing, you know, that just sort of got added. So
What
I
is
think
the-
some of it
on-
we're going to learn as we go.
Since we have at least two significant mixed-use projects right now, what is the exemption in terms of square footage?
So if your building, your gross condition floor area is less than 5,000 square feet,
Okay.
then you can pick one of the options under off-site procurement.
So if we have an example, an apartment building that's 40,000 square feet, and we have, of that, 4,000 square feet is commercial, would that be exempt?
It doesn't, it's the gross condition floor area, so it's both,
Gross condition floor area
so
of what?
of the total building. Oops, sorry.
Yeah, you're
The
on.
gross condition floor area of the total building.
Read that again.
So it basically, one of the exceptions is a building with gross condition floor area of less than 5,000 square feet.
Okay, okay.
So that's the
So-
whole building.
That's
as
the whole
opposed to
building.
the-
Yeah, it
Okay.
doesn't specifically say, I mean,
Even if it's mixed use?
because, I think this is a really good sticking point because.
You know what, that's a question I might ask the state. I have an email where I can ask for clarification because it says where a building having not more than 3 stories above grade plane includes both residential and commercial portions. The residential section can go under the residential code, which doesn't include this. So maybe we can just count the condition gross floor area of the commercial.
You would
I can
think.
get clarification from the state on that and let the board know.
And what if it's over 3 stories?
Then it's totally under the commercial code.
Which I think both of ours are.
So I don't have in front of me the applications that we have, but you know that my sticking point is I've been advocating to follow the master plan that we have for the comprehensive plan that calls for all commercial use on the first floor. So this is a really big sticking point because we're gonna get big pushback unless the first floor is less than 5,000
Well,
square
if
feet.
it's above 3 stories, it doesn't
Right.
matter where
Right.
the commercial is. But because it says,
Both of them.
like it defines under the applicability and the
saying?
scope of the commercial energy, it basically says the code regulates the design and construction of commercial buildings, accessory structures, building sites, and associated systems and equipment. But then under that, it talks about mixed residential and commercial buildings. So it says where a building having not more than 3 stories above grade plane, including both residential and commercial, each portion shall be considered separately. So the commercial section has to apply to the commercial energy code, the residential section has to apply to the residential energy code. So if it's 3 stories or less and it's mixed use, I'm hoping I'm gonna get clarification on the state that 5,000, and they could buy it off-site, is just the commercial section
Probably.
if it's 3 stories or less. But to me, that seems
Oh.
logical,
Yeah.
but the state would have to weigh in, and I can send an email tomorrow.
I would very much. we're
No
gonna need-
problem.
Yeah.
Then
Alright.
I'll shoot the board. And then I just wanted,
Anything else in
if
there?
we're done with, I know, right? I would just wanted to remind the board, because I figured since we were looking at things that the board, like stuff that the planning board may want applicants to know about during the process, vestibules, the need for vestibules are still in the code. They have been. The good thing about it, though, so generally you need a vestibule, but if the doors open directly from a space less than 3,000 square feet in area, you don't need one. So just keep that in mind if you happen to have any big commercial building, like big lobbies maybe, but that's quite big. So it's probably okay. Just
Okay,
okay?
Good.
Thank you.
thank you. All right.
That we're doing it?
Yeah, we're just doing a brief announcement on it, but.
Yeah, you can.
Okay, are you sure? Yeah, okay. Yeah, so one, just quick note that Josephine and I have been working on is that, kind of with the administration as well, is that, you may have known, we talked about the steep slopes code in the past, where they wanted to kind of, regulate development and also help protect a lot of the steep slopes in the village, on how to implement that into our village code. We've actually, following several discussions with the administration, our own staff and everything, and some of our involved committees, that we're trying to expand it a little bit. So instead of just steep slopes, we have an environmentally sensitive lands code. And that would be something that's within the village's zoning chapter. So instead of just steep slopes, it would include things like wetlands, include high groundwater, different either requirements or ways to mitigate impacts to those. And the reason it would go in the zoning chapter is that if someone were to want to get away from those requirements or develop within certain areas of steep slopes that the code would advise against, you would have to go for a variance from the zoning board of appeals. So it makes it a little bit more, I guess, I don't want to say impactful, but a little bit more regulatory in terms of how we can kind of regulate some of these areas, because given the amount of development that's currently ongoing, the amount of, erosion, flooding hazards that we've been experiencing as a village, these are ways that we're looking to try to further protect ourselves, and also, kind of align ourselves current with modern codes. So,
And that recommendation to expand beyond steep slope is coming from where?
well, I think staff initially
Staff?
raised it. Yeah, we initially raised it. A lot of municipalities seem to have the same type of.
Assessment of the 33 villages and
Yeah.
10 towns, and they all have multiple, sorry.
I told you. To
Sorry.
I was like, I need you.
Parker assessed the codes of all the 33, the Suffolk villages and the towns, and they all have multiple, they don't just do steep slopes. They all either address flood hazard, and they all tend to be in the zoning code, the wetlands. So like Dan said, it gives the village time to have due consideration, like if somebody's disturbing these steep slopes, how is the drainage being affected? Is the neighbor below them going to get flooded out? Is there going to be sudden slope erosion and, a little landslide going down? So we're just trying to go in line with what seems to be the norm for most municipalities.
Great, thanks, Parker.
Yes.
I'm sure it was really fun.
He's very good at that kind of thing. All right, thank you.
Thank you. Okay, we have first work session this evening is Bridgeport and Port Jeff Steamboat site plan. We have the applicants here. Come on up. Sure, please.
Good evening, how are you?
Good, how are you?
As you know, I believe we met before on this project, and were asked to take a second look at it. What we did, the original plan had the road widening of East Broadway beginning at the entrance of Danford's parking lot. Upon further review of the crook in the road that we're trying to adjust where the ferry entrance is, we can start that lane change a little further west than east. There's actually a ADA handicap entrance onto the sidewalk, and we'll start the widening after that. So it's probably about 50 foot less, give or take, of what we initially had planned. The other thing we looked at was adding additional quaying for pedestrians using the sidewalk on that far west side, so that when we do have traffic moving, that people have an area to stand until the traffic's clear and they can get across.
Is that the hatched area?
Yes. And the property line runs there, so we'll use whatever we need on the, our property at least to expand that area.
So again, the hatched area is for pedestrians to stand before crossing that entrance.
Right. So what happens, as your study pointed out, right, the summer pedestrian traffic does get heavier, and the people will be forced to wait, for the cars to clear the area and then they can go. So by adding that hatched area, it gives them a little more area to stand in.
What is the sidewalk width?
I'm
The-
sorry?
the
What
m-
is the sidewalk width?
The minimum one, or like. the-
Minimum.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's presently at 8 foot, I
Right.
believe. And then we were going back 18 inches. So I think
So-
the minimum is like 5'5",
Okay.
I believe.
And does that meet ADA requirements?
I'm sorry.
Does that meet ADA requirements
Yes.
for sidewalks?
Yes,
Okay.
and like I said,
It's not on the top of my head.
you have ADA slopeways at the handicap, which we're not going to touch now. We'll start our lane widening past that on the east side, and then the area that's shaded and the area that's there now is already sloped for handicap accessibility.
And I'm sorry, why did you have to shorten how much of a lane you're providing?
So, when we really looked at it, the problem really occurs at the west end. And if you go up East Broadway, you'll see it, like the lane markings change, and in fact, the barriers that DPW put up so people couldn't make the turn actually vary as well. And what happens is, right at the entrance of the ferry, it kind of jams up right there. So if you have someone who's a little further out than they should be trying to get into the ferry, plus traffic coming down, it just jams up. And then,
I understand why you're doing it.
right,
But my understanding with what you just said was you had wanted to make it longer than it is now. You had
Right.
wanted the lane, that extra lane, to be longer. Why did you have to? Am I-
well, yeah, so as you get further up, and you can actually see it in the drawing up by the Danford's entrance, you have pretty good lanes, 3
Okay.
lanes wide going across up there. So up there, we're good. So
Okay.
like I said, we really didn't need more. So
Okay.
we said,
understand.
why take
Why
more
do
than
it?
we have
Okay.
to?
So I missed it.
Yeah,
I
I
was-
looked at this closely, I'm a customer. I think, your problem is the queuing from, the western end to that booth. Have you given thought to moving the booth further north?
So the issue with moving the booth is, like, we'll get cars that shouldn't be there, right? They're not there for the ferry, they get lost, whatever. And if we're further up the dock, then it just jams us up completely. And the more it jams us up, it goes up the street. By having the booth somewhat relatively close, cars that are not there that won't make the ferry if we have full boats, we can quay them right out of the lot, which is out the entrance.
But
Out the, I'm
I
sorry,
mean, you
out
could
the
have,
exit.
you could have staff stand at that area and direct people that aren't customers or don't have tickets to
Yeah.
move away. Because that really is that's a bottleneck. As people are waiting there, they have to check in, and then they move you forward. I think by moving that booth further
You'll s-
north would help.
You'll see, like, our staff does go up the street, and we try to stop that. But like I say, it just seems for us to operate better. And with the changes we're doing with the terminal building itself, the west ramp becomes much more usable for us, so that getting the people in off the street, we should be able to do in a lot more effective way. Using the east ramp now causes an intersection within our lot. By using the west ramp, the cars, present ferry terminal will be coming down. The cars will drive straight off the west ramp and off the exit. So it no longer intersects the cars coming into the lot from east slip
But
operations.
the east ramp will still be active.
Yes.
So you're still gonna have the same problem.
Well, what we'll do in the summertime is, once the boats are underway, then you could use either ramp. But what we would do in the summertime was predominantly use that west ramp for just that reason.
I don't know.
How often would you say you get a line, a queue, longer than the lane that you've provided? Can you give an estimate? Like, because I want to say there's several times where even what you're providing isn't enough.
Like I say, the lane itself exists now.
Right.
The widening, what it's doing is taking out that little crook in the road that is not allowing through traffic to get by
Right.
safely and
But I guess
efficiently.
just piggybacking on your argument is there are times if you're heading down East Broadway, you're heading down the hill, the traffic gets all the way backed up to East Main,
Right.
and there is not a dedicated right-hand, or a ferry lane all the way back in that area, and you can't get around. Like, there's no getting around once you get to that. Am I making? Because the traffic is backed up so far, there's only one lane. There
I
isn't a
understand
dedicated
what you're
ferry
saying.
lane. And I think might be, if it's times where you are having the cross traffic leaving the ferry when it's peak ferry season, it kind of needs to be addressed. But again, I notice, I just don't know how often it happens. I only notice when I am
I've only
impacted.
witnessed it twice over the years.
Okay.
So, and in fact, the first time I witnessed it, I said, oh, that's what people are talking
See, but
about.
I drive that road. I would say
see,
I had it happen to me at least 3 times just last summer.
So is this something that they're able to address? Because
That's what
this
we're
is-
trying, like, why does it get that bad?
So the queue is too short from East Broadway to the booth. And I mean, you have a structural problem. I mean, I understand what you're dealing with, but that's really, the issue. I mean, if you look at a McDonald's or, any quick service restaurant, the towns are looking for, big queuing space,
Yeah.
Right.
and you don't have it. And,
Well,
and-
like
and-
I say, under normal operations, I think we're pretty effective with getting the cars off the street. Like I said, the lane widening is really to stop that
Right.
crook in
Help.
the road.
Right.
We're really not looking to, we're not looking to quay up the street. We don't want to do that.
I'm
You
just-
really don't want
Yeah,
us
I know.
to
I'm
do
just
that.
curious why it happens. Like, what is it that triggers that
Like,
kind
Well,
is it a
again,
holiday?
But
Under our
It's not
current
all-
operations, we really need to use the east slip.
okay.
And if you're using the east slip, the cars coming off, going for the exit, are intersecting with cars
Right.
coming. So what they'll do is they'll hold the cars coming in while they exit.
Right.
With the removal of the terminal building, right, downsizing the terminal building, that will shift to the east a little bit. The west slip now, which is the slip all the way to the left-hand side, the exit is straight out, right? So you no longer have that intersection of cars coming in intersecting with the cars trying to exit. We believe that's really the key traffic flow problem we have. And
Okay.
by doing this with the terminal building, and like I said, we built 2 buildings now with this plan in mind to really ease the traffic flow for us and for you guys as well.
Okay. I mean,
how far away is the west ramp implementation?
The west ramp is built. We redid the bulkheads 6, 7 years ago
Yeah.
now. That area was all reinforced. When we take the building down, we will have to do some reinforcement, but
When,
relatively
When
minor.
is that planned?
So we had a discussion with the planning board, you know, our overall site plan, what we want to do. The architect is working on the new ferry terminal, because it will be replaced with something. Our idea is a lot narrower and maybe a tad longer than the existing building, which, like I said, will give the cars using that ramp
Right.
direct access off. And also clear up the vision down Main Street. You'll basically see the harbor coming down
So
Main
you think
Street now.
2 to 3 years?
I think we're talking about doing demo on the existing ferry terminal next January. You know, we have to submit site plans, all that good stuff, but,
So I mean, I think this is that your plan, the widening is helpful. I'm just wondering if it's gonna be enough and.
well, I think every little bit helps, right?
Yeah.
The new ferry building I love because we used a lot of old pictures. You guys have them here as well. And, you know, the village kind of grew up around the ferry, you know, and us around you guys as well. And, you know, I don't think there's one overall solution, but if you can make little improvements here and there, it helps considerably. And like I said, we'll have East Ferry office, which is the old jewelry store now, which will be our call center and operations. West Ferry office across the street now is engineering, human resources, and Mr. Hall's office.
was there something that we needed to, staff-wise, did you have any comments?
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
so we, yeah, like Mr. Jacobson said, because we met, I think it was a week or two ago, we met to talk about a pre-sub that's basically kind of fit this project within the grander scope of what they're proposing to do, and with the new ferry terminal building, and even eventually a storage site that's going to be on Beach Street that's going to help out with the, hopefully allowing more space for them to accommodate vehicles on site, including separating the pedestrian traffic. And so we were okay with this kind of going forward at the moment as its own separate one, just because there's a bigger plan involved. With that being said, I did meet with Greg Munson, superintendent for DPW, yesterday, and we went on the site, we reviewed the plans and everything, and he didn't have a major issue with what's presented. His biggest concern was just the staging of it. He wanted a traffic control plan was his biggest recommendation, just
That's
so.
what- yeah.
Just so we know during construction and also once it's in operation, how traffic like currently flows, how it's going to be impacted, how navigating vehicles through the area, during the actual construction of it that's his biggest primary concern for the project.
Speaking with
Yeah.
Don Spence, who's our paving contractor, and I know he's worked with the village as well, this should be a relatively quick thing. And the work we did last spring, summerish, getting access across the street for East Ferry Terminal with whatnot, we did, basically had traffic going. We have the personnel on site, so the work days that we do it, we'll have people on site to direct traffic as needed.
But wasn't there also concern that it might be part of the village's property?
Yes.
I mean, can you just read your staff recommendations?
Of course.
And then,
Yeah, sorry, I'm gonna jump in the, no,
Right,
yeah.
yeah.
So exactly, that was part of it as well, because it is technically the village's right of way. One thing they wanted to probably have to be established is what we call a temporary construction easement, just to allow work to occur on the village's property. That's
it's gotta
something,
be legal, right?
that's legal, yeah, so
Lawyers.
typically that
Always
would,
have to have lawyers.
yeah, so that would be technically what's required. You would have to be informed acceptable with the village's attorneys, so that's something that we can, would have to review it and consider it. I was recommending as well that state construction staging, traffic control, and I don't know if any materials are required to be stored anywhere, just some kind of plan to be submitted as part of the planning board's record, something that they typically ask for, just so they can be fully comfortable in the fact of like, hey, this is how the project's gonna work, this is the timeline, some kind of documentation about the construction staging or expected timelines, I think is something that we would highly recommend.
I read your note on that, and honestly, the reason we purchased Beach Street was to allow us to, when we did the dock project and whatnot, we kept all construction vehicles over there, materials and whatnot,
When you say
Hey.
Beach Street,
next to Tilcon.
okay,
Where
The
Cito
property,
is, right, currently?
okay.
I'm sorry?
Is it where Cito currently at?
Yes, Cito.
Operates out of? Yeah.
Yes.
Yes, so just put it in writing, I guess.
Yeah.
So again, as you said, the overall plan was also to do a warehouse, basically storage unit over on Beach Street, which allows to further clean up the items we have over at the ferry dock now, and to make that just strictly the cars and pedestrians and the vehicles we're moving on the boat, and to clean that area up and use Beach Street as an ancillary use, as you said.
Okay.
Anything else?
Ray Tobias had given us some notes. I don't know if you're aware of them or if you'd like to.
Well, I mean, I addressed one of them, you know, moving the check-in booth further north. That was one of Ray's comments. He also spoke or made note about a small bathroom building at the dock, and
A small.
this bathroom building
That
at
the
the dock.
plans, excuse me, that the plan should show
Bathroom.
demolition.
So when we do the demo on the existing building, we're gonna have to have temporary structures, bathrooms. When we've done this in the past, when we did renovations within the ferry terminal, we had, they make nice little trailers, bathroom trailers. And we can plug right into the existing sewer system.
I don't think that's what he's referring to. Is there he says that there's an existing bathroom building
He
at
says,
the dock.
yeah.
Is there any such thing?
Not that I'm aware
I
of.
think he was referring, because
Referring to a temporary, a portable bathroom? Is that what he was talking about?
I don't,
No. No.
he wrote plans
Plans
should
should
show.
show demolition of small bathroom building at dock.
I don't know.
You don't know what he's talking
do you know
about?
that?
Yeah.
No?
Okay.
It might have been for the main terminal, because I know the conversation kind of got similar to this, like we brought in the main terminal project as
All right.
part of the
Yeah,
discussion.
I think
Okay.
when
With
we
this-
discussed doing the demo on that, we're gonna have to have a
course.
trailer for
Sure.
waiting room
Right.
and
That's fine.
bathroom.
Okay. Got it.
Did you have any other?
Yeah, just a few more things, because, the last major one was the only concern is, I know originally you guys had some kind of indication about the drainage structures that are there, that like something might have changed, and then this plan's been updated where it says, it just kind of locates the catch basins that are there. I didn't know if the board, because I don't think basically the concern was if the road widening would have any potential impact on the drainage structures, just because of the location it's in. I don't think it would necessarily, but if the board wanted DPW to review that, or if there was a concern, I mean, I know, again, DPW has
making
looked at
them-
it, and didn't have a major comment, but,
He's making them narrower, so I think it would.
yeah.
Well, again, talking with Don Spence, there is a drainage box, and what we're gonna do is just move that over, to be part, just as it is now, just over to the north to 18 inches.
Oh, you're gonna move it to the, okay.
To the
new-
side, so
To the curb.
it shouldn't impact drainage whatsoever.
And
It'll
do you
just be
have to like regrade the road a little bit? So,
Um,
in order to, because the roads kind of slope towards the drainage, so I'm
Right.
assuming when you're shortening
When-
the,
When he repaves.
they're gonna
yeah,
continue
we'll
the,
slope it to the curb. Obviously, the curb works as you're.
because if you don't, then it's going to impact the drainage.
But I will say, like this area, and you probably know it, is prone to flooding that,
Right.
on super high tides.
Yeah, it's
the
not going to make it
Lower
different.
Port
Yeah.
intersection there, and,
Yeah.
comes back up through the storm drains,
Yeah.
really.
But if you don't grade it down, you're gonna have a standing water
Yeah, no.
until you,
it'll-
yeah,
It'll
for minor.
match the grade
wa-
of the road.
And then my last comment, so when you had this meeting, I really would love to see a master plan. Like
Yeah.
everything all in one plan. We've been asking for it for a long time. And the answer has always been, well, we don't really know yet. But it's kind of sounds like you guys do have
No, we
plans.
do, and we've met with, the the staff
Yes.
a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
Really
You know,
to
we
lay
saw
out-
Everything in one place, the buildings that you're using, what you're using them for,
Right.
how you plan on getting staff back and forth, just things that will impact the village.
Yeah.
Right? And then this Beach Street location and,
Yeah.
And that's one thing, but I mean, really, just this main site to see
right.
how
like
the
whole-
flow is going to happen with the west, with the rest.
Yeah,
west
I
ramp.
think Dan has a pretty good understanding where we're going.
Is there a plan, though?
There is. So they submitted a
Okay.
pre-sub to us internally, and we actually recommended we're going to come to the board eventually with it.
All right.
We just asked for a couple documents on their end to kind of
Okay.
bring that forward to you all.
All right.
This was one that the problem was it was reviewed by the board in the past. You resubmitted it to Director Feeling, and Andy was retired at that point, so none of us knew we had a new submission, and we're like, oh wait, and then he told us during the pre-sub. That's why we wanted to bring it back before the board because
Yeah,
just because it was
I
outstanding.
wasn't even aware that Mr. Friendly retired.
Mm-hmm.
I know when we had been here previously, talked about, giving it to the New York State DOT for their comment, Brookhaven
Yes.
and the county, and of course, they all came back with no comments.
Yeah, I meant to say that as well.
But otherwise, we would have been here a little sooner. I was waiting to hear from Andy, but he was in Florida apparently. so.
Yeah.
Okay. Living it up.
Very good.
So yeah, I mean, so I guess that's my question. Would you? I would prefer all this to easier to be one because I know you want to move
Yes.
forward with this part first, but I don't know. Is it better to be one project?
Well, like we said, and I know because I've been over at East Ferry Office, watching from upstairs, and just that traffic knuckle there really has to be addressed.
I'm comfortable if they follow the recommendations that you had, having this done now, and
agree.
then we can look at the whole thing.
Okay.
Because I don't want to hold this up,
Yeah.
but again, do want.
The document.
one-
Yeah. Okay.
What do you, I mean, if things move well here, what is your anticipated timing for starting
For
this
doing
work?
this?
Yeah.
Oh, we'd like to do it probably by the end of April. I already talked to Don Spence. Steve Gallagher was another one. We'd run this by Steve, and made a lot of sense. He said absolutely, and
Okay.
he retired as well, I believe, right? So
Yeah.
I'm the only guy that keeps working.
So do you think you can have,
New one.
so in order for that to happen, you need to get the information that he needs to staff by April 2nd?
Okay.
Right? That's
Yeah.
2 weeks before
The
the
meeting.
meeting.
So we
So
need
is
the
that
traffic control
doable?
plan. We would need the operational plan, like how probably the overall. What's the overall site plan? You have the preliminary sketch up, so maybe
Can you do me a favor? Just email
you're
me
gonna need.
tomorrow?
Yeah, we'll have a
Yeah.
post meeting memo with everything in
Let's
it.
do that.
Yeah. so
So move heaven and earth to get it in by the 2nd. So that we move heaven and earth to get whatever I don't want to re-say it, all the items,
yeah, there's a lot of
that
stuff.
we need.
Yeah.
get them in by the
Look.
2nd, or we won't be able to look at it.
Dan will email me tomorrow. And we'll
Okay.
jump on this. Like I said, I've already talked to Don Spence. I know he's been talking to the new guy up at DPW, so.
Okay.
It's just a matter of putting on
Great.
paper. and getting it
Yeah.
back to him. All right.
Thank you.
Thank you very
Very
much.
much.
Thank you.
Oh,
Dan, wanna buy it?
Oh.
I am
wait, the
going to
Baxter?
recuse, no, I think.
Which one is it?
25?
This
East
is
Broadway,
Danforth.
sorry.
Yeah.
I
Hanford,
skipped one.
I'm going to
Skipped
recuse
one.
myself. so
Okay,
We have a new acting chair.
woo woo. All right. So 25 East Broadway. Great. Dan, I guess, can you start with your staff report?
Sure. All right. So this is the existing facade improvements, right? On the ball. Actually, no, it's the is ballroom, right?
The
Facade?
existing facade improvements to the ballroom, second floor, and
Yes.
the proposed facade renovations on the coastal ballroom.
Oh,
Thank you.
talk
Oh,
into the
I
mic.
apologize, Yeah.
And the proposed renovations to the facade on the coastal ballroom.
So that's two, no, that's one. Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's all considered as one application. So during the last meeting, there wasn't Basically, there was a couple of requests for additional clarifications following what the ARC had originally commented, right? It had stuff to do with the materials being used on the facade. Some lighting information was requested. There was also questions about the Brookhaven easement, the park easement. That was
Yeah, on the park to the west.
yes. And so since that review, all of that's been submitted. We did submit, so they submitted revised architectural drawings, which are up there for the board's review. We did send these back to the Architectural Review Committee, and the ARC did have comments on it. Basically, they kind of reiterated about the siding material was their biggest concern. They really felt that maintaining the brick along that facade was more characteristic of the building and what was there versus the siding that's proposed. That's kind of we did attach the ARC's comments. I know we received them, I think it was yesterday, right? We
But
received-
did the ARC understand that it was the matching? Wasn't it the matching that
Yeah,
was
so
going
that's
to
our
be the
concern.
issue?
So on the updated elevations, we indicated the darker grayed out areas. That's where we'd be patching new brick in versus the old brick. So those areas would be kind of standing out. And again, I understand ARC's comments. And if we were doing the south side of the building, I would definitely agree with them because that's on Main Street and that's visible. Again, on this side, we're down that narrow alleyway between two buildings. The building to the south of this facade is also siding. We have two stairwells you can see on either side that kind of protect this area. So the brick is still going to wrap around the corner of the building, but then you have the stairwells that are kind of interrupting that material. And in between the stairwells would be the siding. I think we still are pushing that. I think the siding would be our best option here without.
So does this image reflect what is actually proposed? Are those darker gray areas actually just going to be completely siding?
Yes, the siding lines are in there, but we kind of lost it when we overemphasized the areas that were being filled in.
So between, let's say, this window and that door, it
It would
just
all be siding, yes.
Straight siding.
Yeah, so you wouldn't see those highlighted areas.
And this is only on the alley side.
Only on the alley side, yeah, we're not touching any other facade on this building. And it's all below the balcony.
Yeah.
So it's covered, again, it's a little hidden underneath there.
Okay.
I have a question about the lighting.
Mhm.
I have friends and family who have those colonial type of lanterns that have the little candle that flickers. And they never put out enough light so you could walk safely. When I was reading the information, there wasn't any information about foot candles.
That, I don't even, do you have the submission for that we could put up?
Yeah, we can pull up the lighting submission.
there
So
it
it's,
So
that's true. We don't have a comprehensive lighting plan for the project yet,
Well,
so.
yeah, because I've used, well, when I go visit other people, I use those lanterns, and it's like, we don't have enough light.
I think so.
And I hope that
Right,
that won't be the
so
same.
this was just put as aesthetic lighting based on ARC comments, but we can certainly make sure that we have enough foot candles
I-
to see the entranceway for people walking back and forth.
Right, and it's, not just the entranceway, but the pathway up to the entryway.
Yeah, I do, I'll have to double check, but I do believe there's lights underneath the balcony also.
Okay.
And I much prefer, if the board's okay, adding recessed lighting. If lighting is a concern, I'd rather have recessed lighting and keep that more of a aesthetic ambiance type of lighting.
I think safety is
Yeah.
important.
Just to understand, we're talking about where those flowers are being hung. Is that correct?
Yep.
Yes.
So right now, there are flowers blocking it anyway.
Yeah,
So behind those flowers would be siding.
yes.
I interrupted your.
No, you're
Go ahead.
fine. There actually wasn't much else to say. So they also did, I mean, I have the ARCs, they gave a formal letter, and they were commending you guys for incorporating a lot of the revisions they have asked for, with the exception of the site, like the entranceway is what they wanted, the lighting is a little more coherent with what the ARC was looking for. I think from staff's perspective, it really is just up to the board's comfort. I don't think we had any major issue with this proceeding towards final action or approval. Just, again, if you need additional clarification of lighting or siding changes, it's really up to how you take the ARC's opinion. And
I'm comfortable with, I value the ARC. I think they're an amazing committee. I think they always have great ideas, but on this one issue, I'm gonna have to go siding. I don't know about,
I agree, if it was on the Main Street side, but it's not, it's on the alleyway side, and as you saw in the photos, it's covered by flowers anyway, hanging
yeah,
plants.
I think the
So
mismatch
I'm
brick.
comfortable with, you've adhered some of the ARC's findings, recommendations, not all of them, and it's reasonable why you haven't. I'm comfortable moving
Oh,
forward.
no, I've seen mismatch brick, and that really draws your attention.
Right.
So the siding would be preferable.
Do we have to take any other action besides, it looks like we got, Ray has said that the park agreement from the town was received.
yes.
So do we need to take any other action?
No, I don't.
Can we make a motion?
Yeah,
I
you
don't-
guys
I
could.
don't
I
know,
just-
it doesn't say, it just says the action says review revised plans. So I
Yes.
don't know what that, I don't know if we're,
You can move towards approval. Yeah, I mean, but I don't think we had.
we don't have a resolution?
Not yet.
Yeah.
We
But
would
I
have-
would like it written somewhere about the safety of the lighting and,
I was gonna
Okay.
say, you can offer that as, it could be a condition of the
Mm,
approval if
yeah.
you choose.
Yeah, can we just put that as part of our building permit issue, so like we provide?
As a condition
you
of
know,
approval.
Yeah, provide, the building department for a building permit, a lighting plan.
you know, I like the colonial lanterns, they're very nice.
So we'll keep
I
that
just-
exact, so we'll keep that same look, so aesthetically, it would not change. We'll do some recessed lighting just to,
For
get
safety.
proper,
So
lighting
what,
underneath there.
what kind of approval are you looking for today?
I'd like to just start building tomorrow, obviously, so.
Okay.
Whatever
But
you guys can give
Wouldn't we
me.
need a resolution?
You would.
Yeah.
We didn't prepare yet because typically it's, well, it depends on the project. There's sometimes we try in our best to get the resolution in front of you so we can do it all at the same meeting. This one, we weren't exactly sure yet where the board was gonna go because the ARC comments, so we don't have a formal resolution prepared. If we
Okay.
did approve it, we would just bring the resolution forward to the board at the next meeting in April 16th, would be the.
Would,
Do any
and
better
there's
than
no,
that?
well,
We're in busy season right now, so they're
we
trying to
could,
get this done before,
so that's
parties
what I'm,
really kick in.
so my next question was,
Yeah.
aside from Barbara's comments about wanting to make sure that there's plenty of lighting, what else would there aren't any, there's no conditions to the approval?
It would be, well, the typical ones, like done within X amount of time frame.
Right, the planting, if there's planting, would have
Exact
to
maintenance
stay.
of landscaping.
So,
I don't think this requires a site inspection fee or a performance bond because it's a more,
right, so the resolution would just basically be the history of the project. We need to make sure that the lighting is appropriate for the area, and that's, anything else?
I didn't.
But does the public have to get a chance to look at the resolution?
This was just a
No.
site plan, so
Yeah.
technically they don't have to have a public hearing if the board doesn't think it's.
I'm
mean-
okay, it's up,
You
but
could say.
I'm one.
Okay.
We have an attorney
You have an
here.
attorney. The question is if they could proceed without the formal resolution yet. You think that's,
If you want to circulate some conditions, if you want to, you're going to agree to approve it tonight, and then you can circulate some resolution to them, and just all the conditions, just maybe, we'll approve it, and then you want to write out the conditions.
I'll write it
like,
out and
yeah,
circulate it with the board.
Make sure they're good with it, and then we'll send it up to the building department.
you think it's okay to, yeah, okay. So,
Barbara, are you okay with that?
I'm okay with that.
How about Dan?
A motion to approve.
as long as, yeah.
So
Is it motion to approve as,
site plan as is,
Motion to approve the
because
site
it has
plan.
the sighting.
Yes.
but it doesn't have the lighting?
Okay,
Question is, do you want that as a condition for a building permit or condition of final site plan approval? The main difference is just, condition of final
Well,
site plan
it-
approval, right, it would have to be signed.
Site plan approval?
Okay.
No, it doesn't have to be part of the building permit, right?
No,
Do-
obviously,
do you
want it
have-
part of
You'd
the
rather,
building.
right, you
Yeah,
want it
we
part of
want
the
it
He
part of
want,
the
they
building.
want it part of the building
Yeah,
permit.
make it part of
Okay.
the
Tip,
building
yeah.
All right.
Okay.
okay.
Put it on there, I
Okay.
promise. Yeah.
So,
send it to you.
Barbara, do you want to make your motion then accordingly?
I'm making make a motion to approve as amended with the lighting. Will that suffice? Do we need,
I would say upon the submission of a lighting plan as part of in a format acceptable to staff, you want it to be us? Or-
Please.
Okay, and if warrant
Okay.
acceptable to staff upon, prior to the issuance of a building permit, so be part of the building permit.
Fine.
Okay.
I make that motion.
Can I get a
That much.
second?
Agreed,
you
approve.
approve?
I vote approve.
Stan seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right,
Thank
thank you
you.
very much.
Get him going.
Let's, I'll reach out to you soon, so we'll let you know.
Are you recusing yourself? No.
Okay, we have a work session for 1510, 1512, 1516 Main Street Site Development Plan, the Baxter.
Good evening, Mr. Chairman, members of the board, and Eric Russo, Van Brent, Jesuit and Russo, 140 Main Street, Sayville, on behalf of the applicant, Upper Harbor Portchek Realty LLC. We've received yesterday comments from Mr. Gross, if he'd like to review them. We've read what's there, and we're at the point that we're moving forward to public hearing on the 16th of April. And what I understand to be 4 comments are still being awaited from the Conservation Advisory Council, the Tree Committee, and Public Works. They were supposed to have met this past week. They're meeting next week. And your engineering consultant, that we paid the fee of $5,000 for them to review what already Mr. Anderson and Mr. Tobias have already looked at, had no real problems with, but they just wanted to have a quick cursory review of the project by Hayduck. So we're there. We've submitted an easement plan. We're having our meets and bounds description being prepared, and we're ready to move forward. And the Architectural Review Committee's comments were given this afternoon, and we see no real problem with the comments. I've discussed them with Rob Gito, who's here tonight, along with Angelo Lano on behalf of VHB, and Eric Nicosia, the architect. If you have any other questions, we'll address them, but I think we've pretty much come to consensus after our last meeting in February, which
So,
we didn't have the pleasure of you two ladies, but we had Mr. Rosner.
Sure you were quite happy.
I didn't say anything of that kind.
Dan, any update on the grant?
So, the DRI, it should be, we're hoping any day. They announced the northern region, they announced central New York. They announced other grants during this week. They're kind of, this is kind of the period of when it should be coming. So, hoping before April. They haven't announced Long Island yet, though, that's the Downtown Revitalization Initiative. So we are still waiting on that. Hoping very soon, but
And the Architectural Review Committee, in their comments that
Yeah.
were just put forward,
Right.
said they would prefer to allow the money to be given and placed elsewhere. That was in the middle of their comments.
So do we have any changes on the southwest corner of the building?
Yes.
yeah.
If you put up
Oh, yeah,
the
on the
elevation that we presented the last time, you can see the design changes based on what Architectural Review Committee put forward. And this is a copy of the easements that were discussed. We circulated to everybody.
Thank you.
You may have gotten a copy from Cindy and from Dan. The easements are in the green shaded area. The majority of the easements are situated on Rail Realty property. There is an easement that's on the south side of the Baxter, which is the one that you can see. But the majority of the easements all have to do and are related to access the parking. And the north side is to allow for the parking that also goes across Rail Realties. And the descriptions, we just finished this within the last 10 days. The descriptions are going to be concluded hopefully tomorrow for these areas, which is pretty much what we discussed at the last meeting.
So this is the new plan?
This is the easement portion.
Oh, the easement portion.
The
What's
building
in
still
green
has the-
shaded, the building's still there. Oh, it's in the green shaded area. The building is on the right, and then the parking is there, and if you recall, we're sharing the parking with the lot that both the MTA, the village, and Rail Realty share, and we meet all the necessary parking requirements. There's no variances. We went through all of that at the last meeting, if you recall.
Yep.
And the elevation that was given eliminated the corner portion on the north side, because it was determined that the architectural review and the benefits that the mayor had been suggesting that she wanted to use monies instead, we've squared off the building. And Eric has the plan.
Okay.
We had filled in the south end of the building where before there was a plaza, so it actually increases the retail frontage area of that. So
Correct.
that's the piece that was filled in.
And we still have that little walkway that goes from Main Street up
Yes,
to.
that's the
Okay.
green area there.
Okay.
That's the walk. You see it on the south
Mhm.
end there? That's the walkway that goes from Main to the parking lot.
But this, well, I'm sorry, but this little white area here is no longer there.
That's filled in.
That's filled in, yes.
Okay.
So this isn't,
No,
this isn't
I was
updated
just
with that.
saying this
Got it.
as to the easement area that we last discussed.
Understood.
Okay.
Can someone catch me up? What happens if the grant comes through?
So the grant, the whole idea behind the grant was that, so during the last meeting, we talked about how G Group had some discussions with the administration, with the mayor, talking about potential opportunities for range of public benefit and what, if they weren't going to provide the covered patio area and walkway, what the money could then be used for. They said they would give it to the village and they could use it for something. And one of the things was talked about was the Tooker House, just
Okay.
down Sheep Pasture, and potentially using that money to help fund that project. If the DRI is received, that project is a part of the DRI, so that's something we would try to allocate money towards to help support that. Right, that's a $10 million grant, so there's a whole bunch of village-wide projects. But then it became the question about, okay, so then where would the money go next, and how would the board like to see the major public benefit, and then versus what it could be contributed towards?
Do you happen to know if the plans for the Tooker House is
important
to
part
make
to
it
it.
a
Yeah.
public space?
I believe so. I believe it's because I know it's kind of tied in with 6 properties or 6 homes at this right now, and they're trying to separate it off. And I believe it is to become public space. I'm not fully behind the project, but that's my understanding of it.
So the other important part of that discussion, and I'm not sure what the genesis of it was, but that area in the southeast corner of the building that was going to be set aside as an amenity space. Was it ARC that determined, or made a statement that it was maybe not a great idea?
Well, Rob was present at that meeting. I can let Rob explain what happened at the ARC, but
Right.
the end result was it wasn't felt that it was necessity, and that using the money for another purpose would be the benefit.
And it could create safety concerns. Weren't
Correct.
there
Yeah.
things along
Correct.
those lines?
Because it was, the discussion was
Yeah,
whether,
a loitering spot.
Right.
Right, so that's kind of where
Right.
that came from.
I guess,
It being a covered spot and, you know, not
Yeah.
exposed and
Right.
people hanging out.
And,
Yeah.
and we
so
like.
it was
and we-
recommended that the
disagree with,
building
but-
be squared off.
And we like the idea that there's gonna be more retail.
yes, which is great. I guess my point is, so my understanding of a public amenity is it's supposed to benefit the public that you're building for, right?
Correct.
So if, I guess I'm trying to get to, if the funding is no longer needed for the Tooker House, is there a way of saying, what else can this money do to help benefit
Yeah.
the people? Because I loved the idea that you guys had. I wasn't here last time, but it did benefit the people that are going to be in that building. There's going to benefit the people around the area. So it definitely needs to be something that's a public amenity for the people that are
In the
living
area.
up there. I don't know how to make that.
I think we had some other
Yeah,
concepts, didn't we?
Yeah, well, I was-
If the Tooker House thing,
It was, the suggestion was by Mr. Gito that the monies that would have been allocated would be left to the determination of the village, how best to utilize it appropriately throughout the village.
Okay.
So it would benefit indirectly this project, but also the entire village. So the amenity was now being spread around. and it
Right.
was undefined because of the grant.
Right.
So we're hoping, maybe by the 16th, that magical answer will come forward.
And we were keeping part of the public amenity
walkway.
benefit, the
Keeping the
walkway,
walkway.
right?
Yeah.
right,
Right.
So we
right.
would figure out the, the numbers.
Yeah,
and
right.
Review with you, make sure apples to apples, that we're on the same page.
Now you're caught up.
Thank you. Apologize. I just wanted to make sure I understood.
I wasn't at that meeting.
Okay.
Hey, I have an idea.
What was the,
Why don't you take that leftover money, right?
you-
And who's old enough to remember the diner across the street?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, which is no longer there, but you have the lot. That could be paved over and made some parking for uptown. Just,
I think it's owned, someone else owns that
Yeah.
property. I don't think it's owned by the village.
no, it's not owned by the village, but I'm sure that person would like an offer on it, but,
I have.
I'm very good at spending other people's money. So that would just
I
be,
think there is a plan with that parcel, the former
I-
diner, coming forward with the
Yes.
village.
Yes, there is
We're
one.
not involved with it.
No, there is another applicant
There's
who's,
an applicant coming forward with a plan there.
yes,
to build,
Affordable condos, if you want to know. Yeah.
yes.
so
okay.
what else was in your?
Is there anything else for us to do? on
Yeah,
this
so
one
there was,
tonight?
you'll notice so this one, there's technically no formal staff report right now at the time. We received the documents and everything. I have gone through them, we've reviewed them, and like Mr. Russo said, it does basically address a lot of the comments that were raised last time. They did close off the building, they've updated the parking calculations to reflect kind of the changes that were made, and we found them to be accurate. There were a lot of the revisions made. We're still kind of still filling a lot of it out. Our biggest thing right now is that we did refer it to a lot of those committees, and they just haven't had the chance to fully review everything yet.
I'm sorry, Dan, when you say close off the building, do you mean square off the building?
Square off, I apologize.
Okay.
Yeah, I didn't, yeah. Square off that corner to,
Corner, okay.
yeah, and expand the amount of retail space in the building.
Okay.
So we're still kind of working through with the committees. My biggest thing was also with DPW, we're gonna be, him and I are gonna be meeting out there, going through the plans and everything to try to get his comments addressed, just to make sure the board has everything. The goal for us is to have a formal staff report with our final comments. With it, as part of that public hearing, the one thing I also want to mention, though, is that last time we mentioned that the village has the adopted draft environmental impact statement and final generic environmental impact statement for the entire south village area. And we asked for a consistency analysis to basically describe how this project fits within that GEIS. The whole idea behind that is that if it's found to be consistent with that, the part 2 and 3 could be completed a lot more, I don't want to say expedited, but there's not as many major or potential impacts it could have. So we did receive that. We have reviewed and are still kind of in the process of reviewing it, but it does seem to be prepared very well. VHB prepared it and submitted it alongside this application. So I think, basically, I think our thoughts is that we'll the goal is to have whatever additional comments by April. I don't know if we can do, there's something I wanted to, I don't know where Mr. Burke went, but,
Far.
oh, he's back there. But I just, I'm sorry.
Because
About-
our
Just about
request-
Secra.
Our request was, you've already adopted that you're the lead agency, and everybody else has already addressed that. And our goal and our hope was that they would complete their review, which is why we were here for the update, that when we got here April 16th, a decision could be reached, approval could be given, CEQA could be concluded, and we can move forward with the resolution because they would like to start construction. So we wanted to be moving along.
But with the public hearing, don't we have to have,
Yeah,
there's a
it's got-
time,
Typically, it's open for 2 weeks for comment, and then we typically send those off, and because some things might come up, the board might want to consider or have comments on. So there's in our head, it was May or June.
I just
but-
thought legally, we have, you open your public hearing, and then we can't make a decision until the following meeting, because we have to wait for public
Comments.
comments.
As long as we're advancing, we're fine.
Okay.
Right.
I mean, sometimes it's up to the board, it's a case-by-case basis, but generally, yeah, most times you don't make the decision on the night of the public hearing, that's very rushed, but,
Yeah.
it could be the following.
Could be.
Satisfied.
If everybody's satisfied, May meeting, we could have a decision.
Could be.
That was our hope.
Sounds like a good goal.
Yes.
Were you able to listen in on the New York Energy Code?
Yes, I heard that. It was very interesting.
I can jump in on that if you'd
Okay,
like.
sure.
So the code is, as with all the codes, is clear as mud, but that is really applies to a prescriptive path when you follow the energy code. So there are a lot of ways to skin the cat with
Okay.
that. And so if I use, they call it an ASHRA, or it's a Heating and Air Conditioning Association provision of that code, and they use the software, that really doesn't apply. That's not a requirement. So I have to justify that, of course, to the building department. But if it was a requirement, solar panels on the roof, it'd be hidden by the parapet, so you wouldn't see that. It wouldn't be sticking up. But in this case, it's not gonna be required.
Really?
Nothing of that code is going to be required?
No, in other words, there's a prescriptive path you can take, and then there's a calculated, engineered path to the code. So if you use the engineered path, it's not a requirement if you meet all the other parts of that engineered requirement. So that's what we typically would do.
I see.
That just,
Me too.
I'm not,
We'll do what we have to do to comply.
Yeah, right.
this is
so-
a lawyer thing, so
But
I would
yeah, yeah.
assume so.
But, right, and I'll work with the building department to justify it,
We don't
and,
have
yeah.
to, we don't have to, or we will comply.
Got it.
So you don't see any kind of changes to the exterior of
None
the
whatsoever,
building?
no.
Other than solar panels if need be?
Right, which would be behind the parapet.
Um,
But most people will be trying to do
Just
the
out of
off-site thing.
curiosity,
Yeah.
with solar panels, do you then end up having more utility boxes or anything that would be on the street level that prevent anything that's on this plan from happening?
No.
Okay.
No, it would be
Meaning,
behind, right.
would it be in the walkway? Would
No,
it-
absolutely not.
Okay.
No,
Or
just,
meters, everything's interior in the basement.
right. So
Okay,
the- And the
that's
parapet's
the only
42
other-
inches
right,
high,
like-
so it would be,
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
if you ever want to go to sleep at night, read the New York State Energy Code.
It seemed,
Josephine seems to be reading it a lot. She's probably getting a lot of rest.
yes, yeah. It wasn't clear.
It's
It-
Seems
confusing.
like there's
Yeah.
a lot to it that
Yeah.
needs to be, that we need to
Mhm.
understand. All right, thank you.
Did you
And we
need
have
to do
nothing
any?
further, so
All right,
we look forward to seeing you on April 16th with the final round of comments.
Okay.
wonderful. Okay.
Thank
Have a
you.
good night.
Thank you.
I think we talked about this.
I think so,
Yeah,
yeah.
we
I
did.
just wanted to make sure.
Yeah, so, take care. This is a new one. Okay. 75 North Country Road, site plan amendment application.
Do you want to see? You sure? Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Oh,
No problem. It was a very quick.
I guess give it to Cindy.
Thank you.
Gil, I'm sorry, he forgot to give one to look at this. Of course. I'm sorry.
Oh, is this for us?
Good evening, Acting Chair, nice to see you, members of the board, nice to see you all again. Anthony Guardino, law firm of Farrell Fritz, representing Northwell Hospital, or Northwell Health and Mather Hospital, in connection with their ongoing plans to improve the hospital as part of their master plan that was approved back by this board in 2022. Andrew Kelly is to my right. He's an engineer with VHB Engineering. So just by way of some very brief history, the hospital submitted an application back in 2019, and that was a site plan for a 4-phase set of improvements, part of the master plan. There was the emergency department and surgical services expansion, and then renovation of the hospital, and there were many other site improvements. I think many of you were here for that. We did need some variance relief from the zoning board, and that was granted in 2021. Thereafter, we've had a number of work sessions here and ultimately public hearings, and then there was a resolution that was adopted by the board in 2022, in July of 2022. Thereafter, the Board of Trustees adopted a couple of amendments to the code to facilitate the helipad, and I think there was also a change to the length of the parking spaces that were changed in the code in connection with this application, so that we didn't need any, so the hospital didn't need any further relief from the zoning board. During that process, it was discovered that the drainage recharge area that's on the hospital property was being used to recharge water that was coming from the village roads onto the hospital property and into the recharge basin, and that was pursuant to an easement. There was a very, very cryptic easement that was agreed to, I think it was in the 90s, early 90s. It had a drawing attached to it. There was one pipe, one catch basin, and that was supposed to go in, and that one catch basin still exists there, but what we have since discovered is that it has like tentacles that go out to many other catch basins. So it covers a much wider area than, from what I can tell, the original easement contemplated. So if it's a larger area, of course, it's a lot more water. And so when we realized that, and we were before the board, it was decided that it needed to be bigger. The recharge basin needed, or recharge area needed to be larger, and to have greater capacity so that it could process more stormwater, both for the hospital property and for all of the runoff from the roads that is going into it. And also, we would need to put a new easement in place to kind of take the place of this very cryptic easement, which doesn't say much other than you could have a pipe there. The redesign was part of the original master plan. It was discussed, but it was a condition ultimately of the phase one approvals. We had to submit a redesign prior to the C of O for phase one. And when we got closer to finishing phase one and the hospital wanted to open the new ED department, we weren't far enough along with the recharge basin. Really not through any fault of the hospital or of our engineers. It really came down to, if you may recall, we had a little bit of a diversion because we thought there was some grant money available, so we were going down that path, only to find out that we didn't get it. So now we lost the time, and we needed to open the emergency room, the ED department. We came back to this board then to decouple, because of course there was a condition that you couldn't get a C of O for phase one unless you had the DRA. So I think you're familiar now. We're getting to the point where I think everyone was here. I think it was in January of last year. We had there was a resolution of this board to decouple, and requiring us to come back with the set of plans for the improved and enlarged drainage recharge area. So the future, so the future is now. We are now back before you, ready to go with this plan.
Good to see you here.
Yes, thank you. Thank you. Good to see you all as well. Yes, so we are now ready to go forward. We have a plan that's in, but in addition to the DRA, there is another kind of piece that was hanging out there with our master plan was for, I guess we called the Learning Center, which I think somebody told me was like an ambulance garage once, way back when, and now it's a training.
It was the ambulance.
It was the ambulance, okay, that's what I seem to recall that.
Behind the thrift shop?
Next to.
Yeah,
Next to the
next to-
thrift shop, exactly, right.
Directly kind of west of the DRA there,
So,
right there, yep.
so that came up
see.
through the review process, and the board said, you know what, let's just punt on that. We know you're coming back for phase two. When you come back for phase two, roll that into phase two and address it at that time. So we are putting that in this application. So what we before you today is really to start the review process for the DRA and for the, I guess, legalizing of the Learning Center.
What's the use of the Learning Center?
I think it's training, is what it shows. There's a large training room.
The finished space?
Yeah, it's a finished space. We had submitted as-built architecturals as part of the.
That's in the packet, yeah, that's in your packet
And-
there.
Shows that building.
What are you training for? Is it the,
Training and
Yep.
technology used for like office use that they're doing for the office to support the hospital.
Have you done any research on COs for that building or CEUs?
Not yet. We were actually requesting if, as part of it, because I don't know if we
Right.
had. Did we?
No, Josephine had done a review and found, she was working with somebody, found some open permits and not a complete CO.
Okay. So his building was.
yeah, I would really like it referred to, I was reading the reports, it was referred to as a garage, but it really is the former ambulance,
Yeah, we can.
the Port
Okay.
Jefferson ambulance.
Gotcha, okay. We
Because-
can make that, that's what it was.
Well, garage kind of tends to imply that it was not at the status it really was.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we were using it as the ambulance garage, but I think we should call it the ambulance.
It was the
right,
ambulance,
It was the
yes.
ambulance, which we can easily do. So I'm going to turn it over because obviously this is getting out of my area because we start talking about the drainage recharge areas. It's very technical and let the engineers kind of figure that out and make recommendations to this board. But there was one comment. I did receive the staff report earlier today. Thank you. Thank you, Cindy. Appreciate that. Generally speaking, Andrew and I took a look at it. It looks fine. I just have there was one thing that kind of stood out to me, and that had to do with the clearing for the recharge basin, that it was raised that we might have to go back to the zoning board. When the zoning board approved, they approved 75%. Then when it got to this board, there's a section in the decision of the site plan that sort of acknowledges that the drainage recharge area might grow beyond 75. But if the clearing area was larger than 75%, as long as it was for the drainage, because again, part of this is being enlarged for the village, not for the hospital. So I'm not sure that, I'm only raising it, I don't know where we end up with it, but I'm just raising it as, in the hope that we don't have to go back to the zoning board, and maybe that this board will have the ability to make that determination, but.
What did the zoning board variance say specifically?
It allowed up to 75%. And now with this improvement, it's 75.45%, so we're just over. And we really don't want to go back to the zoning board. But in the decision of the planning board, in the phase.
Board or the zoning board?
No, planning board.
Planning board.
So the planning board, there was an acknowledgement that it might get bigger.
Okay.
And it sounded like it can get bigger as long as it's related to the drainage and it's not for some other reason.
Plus or minus a foot anyway.
Yeah,
But, yeah, I'll take a look at what, Anthony, if you can send it to me, or.
Yeah,
it to you.
it's very
you go.
hazy in my mind, but to me, this is a legal question more than anything else, because we don't want to be setting precedences where we just waive the zoning board's purview,
That's why.
right?
Yeah.
Understood.
So,
I'm not saying that it definitely needs to be one way or the other. I'm just saying before we get referred to the zoning board, maybe we could just take a look at it and see for a 0.5%, less than 0.5%.
yeah.
So anyway, I throw that out there. I'll turn it over to Andrew.
Sure, so, as Mr. Gordino stated, one of the conditions of the original ED approval, or the master plan.
Just grab
approval,
the, sorry to.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh, sorry. And when I say ED, I mean the Emergency Department Phase 1 of the master plan that was approved in July of 2022. The condition was to arrive at an agreed-upon design or redesign for the DRA, right, to accommodate the village runoff as well as the rest of the hospital campus runoff. So part of that process, VHB worked with the village and the applicant as Northwell to come up with a couple of options for the DRA. If you all recall, there was a lot of back and forth, right? We had 3 main options that were presented. The first option being a option where we look to store the drainage for the hospital campus alone, right? So disconnecting the village from that system to demonstrate that the 100-year storm could be stored on Mathers Hospital's campus with no impacts, right? That also did not include any additional clearing, right? We were able to stay within the confines of the existing clear DRA area. With that, we also prepared a secondary option that looked at not cutting off the village, right? Working with the village to also store their runoff into the DRA at the 100-year storm. That's where we started to have to kind of encroach on that clearing limit that we were just talking about. And then there was a third option as kind of a middle of the road where we take kind of, you know, the north crown of North Country from the village and then cut off the other side of that, right? So there's a big discussion on that. That was, all those concepts were based on a drainage analysis that was completed by R&M Engineering, who was the village's consultant at the time. So those concepts kind of took into account all of the off-site contributing area, right, which was the village roadway, a portion of the town and country condominium access road, the village DPW, and then some miscellaneous residential properties up to the east. So this kind of helped serve as our basis of design, moving through the concepts and the stormwater design. Again, this was prepared by R&M through that process. So as we reviewed a lot of those concepts, there was some questions and some discussion, and obviously as we saw the scale of the project, right, on what exactly that capacity needed to be. VHB and the applicant had always recommended the 100-year storm requirement. One, it's a requirement DEC under the SWIP permits that would be required for this work. And there was some discussion from the village about possibly reducing that quantity down to the village requirement of 3 inches. Finally, it was agreed to that the 100-year was the correct path forward. So we submitted a formal site plan package back in December, which is really, you've kind of seen this already. This was really the option 2, which was that 100-year storm where we were taking all the village and all of Mathers property for the 100-year storm. So all this really did was take that concept and finalize it into more of an engineered package. And again, that's capturing the 100-year storm. Let's see, what else?
Michael, okay.
Was that, I'm sorry?
No,
Sure, sure. Just to note also, as part of the ED project, the Emergency Department project, which is phase 1 of the master plan, we did take off around 14 acres of contributing area to the DRA. So the load from the Mather Hospital property to their DRA has been reduced. That's all been captured now by a separate tributary area up by the ED. So that coupled with these improvements, you know, allow us to store that 100-year storm. So that's really kind of it in a summary. Happy to answer any questions on anything that was submitted.
I have one question. I could be wrong, but during the discussion about the recharge basin way back in, God, I can't believe it was that long ago, was that someone brought up that it also needs to be maintained and that perhaps it wasn't storing as much as it originally had because of maintenance issues. So is there an agreement between the village and Mather ownership, or who's maintaining it? Is there a maintenance schedule?
Not yet.
How do you maintain it? Do we need roads to get in there? Like, what does all of that entail?
Well, there's access, so that's not the issue.
But
There
I
will
mean,
be
is
access,
it like
but
a dump truck, or is it?
well, that, I don't
know,
know
like-
how they get maintained.
I don't
Get
understand. Yeah.
back out of my area again. But I can tell you that as part of, and again, and it's in the planning board resolution, that it was contemplated that the new easement is put in place, and it will address things like, you know, capital contributions, who's going to be responsible for what, because the analysis that R&M prepared kind of demonstrated, and this is what we used when we were trying for the grant, that approximately 20% of the water was being deposited from village properties and 80% from the Mather property. So we figured we would use that 80-20 split as a way of trying to figure out, you know, how we how we allocate costs, and then the same thing with maintenance. It should be the same. So you know, costs, maintenance, and then we have to deal with issues about liability, right, which may be the same percentage, you know, depending on, you know, in case something happens and, you know, it gets contaminated. And again, you know, if we don't know where it's coming from, maybe we just split it 80-20. But obviously, if it came from a village DPW yard because of some accident, we don't want to be responsible. So but we'll work that out. Jim and I are going to have to work that out.
I guess that my main issue is I want to make sure that whoever, I want to make sure that there is a schedule, that we know what that schedule
Oh,
is,
okay.
and that it's enforceable,
Yes.
right? So
Understood.
we don't want to come back here in 50 years and go, hey, we had a 100-year storm and the buildings are flooded again because it hasn't been maintained. So I guess that's where my,
That's a great point.
sounds like a lot of things
Yeah.
have to happen, but I want to avoid, so if it's enforceable, so if it's the village that does it, then it's on us, but I don't think that's gonna be the case because it's your property. So I just wanna make sure that whatever kind of, we have a schedule that's all agreed to that is then enforceable.
Typically, what we do in these situations is that, since Mather owns it, they would be primarily,
Right.
not responsible, but they would take the initiative to do the work, and
Right,
then they would
that's what
split
my
the cost.
assumption.
But if for some reason they're not doing the work, and it's a problem, and stuff is backing up, water is backing up, the village would have the right to go on the property.
Right, but we
and then
don't wanna
seek the. We
get
don't want to
there.
get there. No, we don't want to get there, but just as like a safety net.
Right.
In case, for whatever reason.
Makes sense.
But we'll build it in. We'll build that into the easement. That's a great point.
Yeah,
And I think it just also to kind of build on that a little bit too, the proposed design also does incorporate, diffusion wells in the bottom of the DRA as well to, always kind of have that connection to good material below the surface. So if there is some sedimentation buildup at the bottom of the DRA, there is the ability to still have a connection to good draining material. And that also came at a recommendation in talking with Gil Anderson, member of the board, right?
Okay.
Back a couple of years ago when we were going through the
so
design
for
details.
people who don't have a civil engineering degree but my understanding of what you just said is even if there is some buildup and it isn't maintained within a certain period of time, that there's still.
There's still an
cap-
overflow, correct,
Okay.
to be able to diffuse down to deeper, well draining material.
Okay.
Yeah. I also just want to note on the proposed design, because obviously it's important that we fix the issue that's there today, right? And part of the issue was that there was a catch basin that the village connected into the overall pipe network that was much lower than the high water level elevation of the existing DRA, right?
Oh.
So whenever there was a significant rain event, right,
It
the
went the
DRA
other way.
filled and then relieved at that lower catch basin,
Right.
right? So, just to
That,
note,
that doesn't sound like a great thing.
no,
I
so.
think that's why they got flooded. that-
Yeah, correct. So when we had that significant rain event, that's why you were seeing that. So, part of the proposed design looks to make sure and ensure that our high water level elevation for the 100-year storm is below that elevation.
Okay,
So,
and that's possible to do.
yeah, correct.
Okay.
Are you actively speaking to the mayor and the trustees about money? That's where we got kind of.
The hospital may be speaking with the mayor and trustees. I am not,
Yeah.
because I'm just going to start with Jim, the village attorney or planning board attorney, to get that process started, and then we'll see where it goes.
If you have some really good points in your, did you get the staff report?
I did, we got it today.
Okay,
With-
we
yeah.
kind of did too, so.
Yeah, no, it's good, that's fine.
Um,
It's-
Do you want to go through?
No, yeah, that's fine. Let me just scroll through. I know we mentioned in the beginning, we did mention secret. So,
So we have to do that now, even though we did it as part, we didn't include that in the secret of the,
so the master plan was done in secret, but I think because this was still like a outstanding item, I believe, I don't know, would you doing your own secret for this specific project?
I think it probably did. Didn't you get into
think-
this?
well, so
Well-
going back, I'm pretty sure we talked about, obviously the drainage.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
I don't know, the only thing that I wasn't positive about is removal of the material, the clearing and everything you have to do in order to make this area viable. I'm assuming you have to clear stuff that's already there. I don't know if, I'm not 100% sure
Yeah.
that we did that part. But again, it's,
But
a
to
long
your
time ago.
point, Laura, I do think it was contemplated. I mean, that's why
Okay.
it's in the agreement that it might grow.
Okay.
Beyond seven.
I
Like,
think we did,
We did. The
but-
only thing that wasn't in there were the specifics.
Okay.
Of like, what is it going to look like? We didn't get that far to know exactly how much additional capacity would be created, but we knew that it was going to get larger and that it would process or recharge more water. That we knew, and that was part of seeker.
okay,
So,
thank
know,
you. My brain,
yeah.
I can't remember yesterday, let alone. 3 years
Yeah,
ago.
so I can review that for sure, certainly
Yeah,
then,
why
and
not?
then we could make a, come back for you, be like,
Right.
if, as long as this fits within that scope, then I don't have a
Right.
problem with,
Yeah,
it going
because-
forward just by itself then, so. I'm sorry, not by itself,
But
no secret, like,
That it's already been addressed in the prior secra for the master plan.
exactly.
So let's look at it.
Okay,
yeah,
I could certainly do that.
Okay.
And
I mean, we don't have
I
to
haven't
act on
looked at
now,
that short environmental assessment form either. Haven't had a time
It's
to
okay.
look at it.
No, I know. But well, we recommend this prepared fine, so we had no major
Okay.
issue with it.
What else?
So I guess going on to the next of the rest of the comments. So our primary recommendation for this one, as you know, you might see at the top, is we talk about engineering review.
Yes,
I would highly recommend for this project.
I agree.
Okay.
Yep.
So some kind of formal engineering review. I've spoken with Stephen Haydick about it, and it's something that their office is able to do on behalf of
Yeah.
with staff and the board. They gave us the initial escrow amount between $3,000 and $5,000, but then they think if subsequent reviews are required, $2,500 should suffice.
Right.
They gave us a rough range, but that's something I would at least highly
Yeah.
recommend as part of this.
I
that
recommend that, and
okay
then
with
you
you?
guys
Yes.
can figure out
Yeah.
who,
Yeah, that's fine.
Good.
So, do we
There
need,
had been prior, I mean, was it Holzmacher, who?
Yeah.
They've been involved in this.
they had been involved.
Yes.
What
Yeah.
kind of
Is it
studies
the
they
same
made.
plan? I mean, has it already gone to outside engineering?
no.
Not this one. The other one did. When this was part of the master plan, and this was part of, I think the original decoupling. JRH was the one handling it for behalf of the village. But currently, with this most recent plan, I mean, I personally recommend it.
No, if
I
the
agree,
plan is
yeah.
different, I totally.
Yeah.
Yeah, there hasn't been substantial changes, it's just been further advanced from a
So maybe
design
it'll be
level, so-
less money because they won't have to do as much. But
That's
I
the
always
hope.
That's fine.
figure one extra review,
Not a
it's
problem,
just,
not a problem.
All right,
So
good.
is it-
It's just, if whatever we have for Holzmacher, maybe just
Give it to, yes.
Give it to Haydick.
Yeah.
So-
Yeah.
Tom was pretty involved with this. I mean,
He was.
He was,
We had a number of
Yeah.
meetings.
absolutely he was,
We
yes.
had, we had a number of meetings on this.
Right,
Yeah.
right. Daniel, so is the escrow 3,000, would you say?
They said between 3,000 and 5,000. It's really what the board finds.
Make it 5,000,
Yeah, because whatever money is not used, they just get
hey,
back.
Right,
I'm coming
yeah.
to you if I need to.
Yeah.
5,000.
So, yeah, I guess 5,000 will be fine. So
Okay.
what we do is that we'll send a formal letter to you. Once we receive it, Haydick will get everything. And
If you could, it's the only way I can get a check from the
Yes.
hospital.
Yeah, well-
Something first, as Cindy knows.
yeah, we're learning that. We're
They
like,
don't- Yeah,
oh.
they don't give me, they won't release anything.
What else?
So we had that, right, we mentioned the clearing, I guess we already kind of discussed that issue, so we'll look again.
Just take a look at it,
Yeah,
yeah.
we'll
that's
have
fine.
Jim
We'll figure it out.
look at that aspect of it. Drainage easements, again, we asked for a request if you do happen to have the documentation. I don't know if I had everything available.
I have the original I can send you.
Yes,
It's like
that's,
2 pages with like a stick figure. You know,
is it
like
really-
a
is it
line,
really that?
a line in
Okay.
a box. It's that simple.
yeah.
You know, it's amazing that that's the easement. It says
Okay.
nothing, other
Really?
than you can put a pipe into that one catch basin with a drawing. That's it. Nothing
When
else.
would you contemplate digging in to produce a new easement agreement?
I think we can start right now.
Yeah.
We want to
Okay.
get this process started, but,
Right.
you know, I saw that the recommendation is, let's get those documents going,
Mm-hmm.
because, you know, it's probably gonna take a little while, so I'll start to prepare those, and
Okay.
I'll be working with Jim.
Awesome. Then we had I guess we'll still call it a learning center, but the former
Well, learning
ambulance.
center is fine, but former ambulance.
Ambulance, so we'll fix that too. We'll, I don't think we had a major issue with it. We just wanted to ask the details about the setbacks. I know it's been there, so I don't know if there's documentation about, I guess Josephine was looking into the history of it, and I think we
Yeah.
have some
Sounds like
outstanding
we
issues.
need to get some more information.
Yeah, and
Yeah,
I
that
can't
one-
remember if we took that parking into account.
Yeah,
think we
the
did.
parking's it's all broken down on our parking table, which is
Was it?
included on the
Okay.
overall site plan that was submitted with the DRA. It does break it down, it has its own line item.
I
think it's
meant
a-
originally.
As the master plan?
yeah, did we
it was
look at
all-
it?
Yep,
That
it was
wasn't
all,
there.
Okay.
Yeah.
yep. And to your point, I know there was a comment about the front yard setback. We actually do show that front yard setback as a pre-existing nonconformity
Okay.
in the zoning table, so that is part of the,
Oh, it is, okay,
It's on
because I
the
saw
zoning
the
table.
setback, I just wasn't sure if it was that building or where it
Yep.
was. Okay, so
Yep.
so it's a 29-foot, right, or
yeah,
something?
29.9, I think, or something, if
Okay.
I remember correctly, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. don't quote me on that, but yeah, it's on the plan. You can see it. It's, there's a dimension pulled from the building to the property line.
Awesome. Okay, thank you. Sorry, I might have missed that.
That's okay. All right.
So the last thing was just, and again, I mean, we mentioned this is something that might be for future reviews, but I don't know how soon you might want to work on this stuff like the construction staging, where operations of the main roadway and how it's all going to be anticipated. Like, that's something that we usually ask for as part of the site plan process.
And if you need any easements on village property, you could maybe include it as part of, right?
Right, I don't think we do though, on, right, we don't
No.
need anything.
Just in case.
Yeah,
we
that's fine,
shouldn't.
but that,
Yeah, we should.
we'll take a look at that.
Yeah, we can look
If we
at
need
it.
it, we build that in. Okay.
And would we need a, because we're joint, would we actually have to do a, oh my God, my brain is not working.
Development agreement?
Money upfront,
Performance bond or?
yes, performance bond.
Yeah, so I mean, if there is a cost estimate for all this, I mean, I think.
That would be useful.
Because it's,
Have a bond.
We
yeah.
already
We already
posted
put
a
a bond.
bond.
We
For
put-
this?
Oh, for this one?
Yes,
okay, I could be.
yes, yeah, no, that was the
We
was
did,
the
yeah.
decoupling.
Yes.
Thank
Oh,
you.
you're right,
I
you're
am
right,
so
I'm
sorry.
Just to keep us honest.
My
Yeah,
bad.
no, it's in there, yeah. that's already
Okay,
out there, yeah.
thank you.
Yes.
It's my first time on this
No,
one,
no,
so
it's
I'm.
I should be better prepared.
all good.
My bad.
No, no,
You
no.
want this, yeah. It's page 2 of the decoupling resolution.
Resolution, awesome, thank you. And that's been submitted and everything, so that's already, okay. So that was it for us, just whatever
Okay.
Hayek has to say.
Great.
so-
Thank you. Good to see you all.
Thanks for the update too. Obviously, I needed it.
Sure, no, all good. All right. Any idea when I guess the ball's in our court now, I'm just trying to think about timing and how to,
Yeah, so April 16th, we need anything by April 2nd to be on that meeting. And then there's a May, I don't know the May date on the top of my head, but there's an early May one, and we need 2 weeks prior to be on the May meeting, so.
okay, April 2nd for the 16th. Okay, I don't know how far we'll get before then.
And
It
it's
may work, it may not. but
May
okay.
21st is so we'd need it May 7th.
May 7th,
Oh, yeah, it's a late meeting, I forgot, we have a. yeah.
5/20, would you say 21? Or
Yeah,
22?
is the
21st?
meeting,
Yes.
and then
May
So May
7th.
7th,
yeah,
yeah.
would be 2
Okay.
weeks.
Deadline. Okay,
Very
great.
good.
Thank you
Thank
very
you.
much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Good evening. Next. 450 Myrtle Avenue Site Development Plan.
Good evening. Richard Rosenberg on behalf of the applicant. Mr. Chairman, Acting Chairman, just a little catch-up. Last meeting, 2 members of the board were not here. At that point, planning staff had given us an extensive memo, and we agreed to provide plans to as required by Dan. They were submitted around 2 weeks later. We're now 2 weeks after that, and Dan prepared a memo yesterday for us. We, at this point, Dan had gone over pretty extensively, but one of the requests were on several matters to forward it to an outside consultant for review and approval. And I'm not sure if this was a control date or if you want a presentation. Just in case, I brought the rest of the people in the room with me to answer any questions you might have. Or we could go to next hearing, but what I would like to do is work out an agreement that we can send it to outside consultant, and whatever fee is required, we're happy to post. If it doesn't get used, we get returned, so I have no problem with that.
It's a good first action item.
Yeah,
So
helps.
you can do that, absolutely.
As far as the rest of the memo is concerned, we are going to comply with everything there. There were a number of questions and issues that Dan had requested for input from the board. I don't know if you want to go over that now, if you want the consultants first, next month, whatever your pleasure is.
We could talk
Do you
about some
mind
things.
if I ask that Dan go through his
Yeah,
staff
yeah,
report?
no,
I think that's a good idea.
I would, because again, we also got it.
Late.
We are very short-staffed, so
Understood.
I
it's,
do apologize.
so it
That's-
would be really great if we could, plus I wasn't here at the last meeting, and I did send you an email, so
I'm sorry, I'm.
just if you can address that at the same time.
Yes, because I actually have that question for them,
Yeah,
so
okay.
that's a good point.
And
to
by the
clarify.
way, we did raise your points.
Yes, I appreciate that, thank
Yes.
you.
Did you see the plan? The snow plan?
Oh, yeah, I
There
did,
was a-
thank you
yeah,
so
there
much.
was a- I thought that was really cool, so.
Yes.
And it was included in the updated plan.
Yes. Yeah, so, I mean, I'm happy to go through it. I know there's a lot here, so I appreciate your patience with me and dealing with all this. So yeah, like Mr. Rosenberg said, they've done a substantial job, I think, responding to many of the comments that us as staff raised last time, some of the comments the board had regarding the proposed development. I guess I'll just focus on the recommendations for now instead of going through
Sure.
all the detail,
Yeah.
just to, help expedite. I know we're, been here for a while. Let's see. So, okay, I don't know if maybe we should touch on this at the end. I don't know if, Jim, you want to talk about what we received? I had that in the front of the staff report. We can wait till, okay, we'll wait till on that one. We'll address that later, okay. So the first one had to do with the multiple dwelling use standards. So during the last meeting, we talked about how this is kind of unique in the fact that, well, condominium developments aren't a use in the code. We do have row or attached dwellings, and we have multiple dwellings, both within the RM district. This seemed to qualify, it's kind of both regulations applied directly to this one. They've complied pretty substantially to, I know all the row or attached dwelling ones, it just limits the amount of units per building and has parking regulations. And then we had the multiple dwelling standards, which we had a couple comments on. I'm actually gonna go back in the staff report to go to each of those. So there was 3 major comments. The first one had to do with separation distances between the buildings, right? I guess because you both were in here during the first review, but we mentioned that when you first saw it several months back, there was 25-foot separation distance between the buildings. Since that point, and since the Board of Trustees approved the change of zone, they were increased to 35 feet. And the zoning board reviewed that in January and did approve it. Their findings were typically based on the fact that they had an approved number of units at 77, and to avoid disturbance, in order to accommodate that on the site, while trying to avoid disturbance as much as possible to the buffer zones and what was currently not cleared, they were okay with it being set at 35. There was a slight change. I don't know if Parker's not here. Okay, he disappeared. Well, once we get the site plan up, you'll see that there's a little change to the building layout. There was what was once 2 buildings was merged into one, and it was set back a little for a separate roadway. One more down, perfect. So that south, I guess, western corner, those 2 buildings were combined.
Southwest would be the lowest
Yeah.
corner of the pie.
So that little roadway that juts off, and there's a building there, that was newer compared to the zoning board approval. But council advised last time that given that the separation distance wasn't getting any tighter, it was only growing. It's now 40-something feet on the plan, I believe. We found it doesn't need any review by the zoning board. It should be okay to keep going.
Okay.
So, sorry for all that context, but basically based on that standard, we found it to basically comply given the zoning board's determination. But again, there was discussion, which is going to come out towards the end of the report, about the overall layout and the board's opinion on it, given the information that has now been submitted. So I'll get to that point a little further on. Next, I want to do the parking. This one was relatively easy. They've provided, there's a requirement for 154 spaces. They have about 239 throughout the development, so they greatly exceed the requirement. The only clarification was just ensuring there's something on the plans that notes that each unit has at least 2 dedicated spaces. That's something that the conditional use standards required. And there's a footnote on there, basically saying that each unit, it goes by the different types of units, how it's either 2 garage spaces and 2 driveway spaces, or it's 1 garage space and 1 driveway space, at least ensuring that there's 2 spaces per unit. Something that we recommended was just is more of a paperwork thing that might be required as a condition of approval.
Is the driveway parking stacked or side by side?
But side by side, in terms of,
Side by
yeah. So that's something we just recommend is like the resolution reflect that, basically requires a condition that you might want to require as a condition that each unit will have 2 spaces dedicated, just to reinforce that requirement. Otherwise, we didn't really have, there's a long conditional use standard, but everything else seemed to comply with the conditions that were required for multiple dwellings, for parking wise at least. The last question on that was landscaping, and we'll talk about that a little further on. Then it had the swimming pool requirements for multiple dwellings, which that's something that it says I think are coming in the future, at least the plans indicate it.
Yes, we had retained a swimming pool consultant who's preparing plans. We should have that to you within a week.
Okay, perfect. So that's just something we just asked for future submissions. So, Otherwise, yeah, we found compared to a lot of the information we requested was submitted with the conditional use standards, just pending the pool plans at this time. So the board might want to discuss these details, and if you find that little footnote acceptable, that's a point we make in the recommendations, just to make sure that you're comfortable with the consistency with the use standards. I don't know if that makes sense.
So is the swimming pool, without seeing the actual drawings, is it consistent with the use standard?
Well, yeah, I guess the other two the question was the other two conditions. We can't verify the third one yet with the pool
Okay.
because we don't have the details of it.
But
It's
before
going to comply
public
with the site
hearing,
book.
we'll have
Yes.
something,
That's the goal.
right? Okay.
Definitely.
All right. So next one's a little tricky. If it's okay to jump ahead, we have the subdivision requirements, right? So last time, I think we all agreed, the board agreed that this was a major subdivision, but technically, because this is now the first formal work session review, you might want to, that's something that have to be declared at this meeting.
Make a note of that.
Yeah, so again, it's because it's over 4 units, and given the scale of the development, we would highly recommend it qualifies as a major subdivision based on the village code. Typically, the one thing that we have to do procedural-wise is that we have to now submit, a fee has to be submitted for the major subdivision. That's how the village code reads, so that's something we're going to request. And though we typically wait for that to review some of the major subdivision codes, I did put a note in here about once it's decided it's a major subdivision, it definitely has to go forward with chapter, it's 229 is the section of code. And the first step on that is a preliminary layout review. So that's reviewing the way the proposed development is, the layout of the units, the layout of the site, and if the board's acceptable of that. It's something you typically wait for, again, we typically wait for the fee, but I don't think it's an issue to discuss it as part of this meeting. I don't know if I guess I could jump ahead if you want me to jump up about the layout discussion.
Sure.
Yeah, so the biggest thing is, I don't know if Parker is here. Okay. If you're able to pull up the grading and drainage plan. There's 2 big comments I want to make about the layout. Right. There you go. Okay. So this is one we asked for last time, showing the existing topography of the site and some of the proposed topography, and how it's going to look afterwards. Our biggest, I guess there's 2 major comments, and one of them's coming from other departments, the other one's from us. The first one has to do with, maybe this point has to do with the potential location and proximity of some of the buildings to these slopes. So if you look at the south, I'll start with the southwestern corner. I don't know if you're able to zoom in, Parker. You notice where that building's located, right? This is the newer building. It's pretty close to the slopes that are there. I know it shows a bit of the existing topography underneath it, but just ensuring, we try to avoid those areas as much as possible. So I'm not sure. Something we actually wanted engineers to look at it to be if it's acceptable to be in that location, but
Well, that and there's no way that slope isn't going to be impacted when you're building. I mean, like, there's no way that you're going to be able to come from above without
Actually, we're coming.
impacting that slope.
We'll be coming from inside to the outside, and with the beams and all, we'll prove it out to the engineers. So,
But I mean, I'm seeing, what are those rectangle squares?
those would be a second floor balcony.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I don't, retaining wall?
You'd have to see an elevation.
Yeah.
To understand. What is the plan in terms of retaining wall systems on that side?
That side, retaining walls are not required. On Belterre Road side,
So you-
retaining walls
So you
are
don't
required.
need, you
We
don't
do
believe
not
you need
need.
anything?
No, it's been engineered.
All right. That's what our outside engineer is for.
Right, right,
yeah.
right.
I just wanted to raise that as part of it, just because, again, it's a big comment point. I don't know if the board feels like ready on that yet. If you go to the eastern side as well, you'll see that's where all the retaining walls are proposed as well, and just something we want, again, engineering just to look at, or we're recommending engineering referral towards, because it's a lot of work. It's
Yeah.
it's a major project, and
Yeah, I mean, I would definitely like the engineer to. So we're talking about the layout, right? That's
Yes.
what we're discussing. So the only way I would be comfortable with this layout is if an outside engineer was able to say that your engineering plans are okay and it won't impact that slope
Not a problem, it's been engineered that
Yeah.
way, we'll work with you.
and
village
draining and all the drainage
Yes.
that goes along with it.
Yes.
I mean, has anyone seen the Rancho Palos Verdes right now? Just stuff just sliding down the hill.
Oh.
So it's in your own best interest. If,
They spent a lot of time on the engineering. We're confident that we comply with the code, but we welcome the third party to take a look at it.
mhm.
All right. So, yeah, and you'll see I'll make a couple points throughout, in the layouts.
Wait, just in,
Yeah.
also in terms of the layout, I did see something from the fire marshal about wanting another access.
I wanted to get, yeah.
So I don't know how that would impact the layout.
So,
Nick, can I address that?
Yeah,
Would you
go
mind? When we went before the village board, we specifically raised the issue whether the village board wants it or not. And we actually had it shown initially, but it was going to result in additional trees taken down and what have you. So the village approval specifically provides that the ingress and egress, the entranceway, and this is comment, this is page 3, comment M. There's a condition in the approval that says the access is limited as set forth in the site plan that's attached to it. So the point being is, we went to the village, said, what do you want? They said, no, we don't want it. In lieu thereof, there were additional things that they wanted, extension of sidewalks, things like that.
So this is where I think we need legal to be involved. I don't think it's the Board of Trustees' purview to, they were talking about zoning change and zoning change only. So I don't know that they had all the information to make that kind of agreement. However, it sounds like it's fairly legal. Do you mind looking into it? And finding out, because that's site plan approval. That has nothing to do with zoning change.
Yeah, we'll look into it. I mean,
So, I think they're-
that at the time, that it was also reviewed by the fire marshal staff at the time. I know that was it was originally a proposal to have that secondary access, and then it was my understanding, and speaking with the village, with Dave Moran, that they looked at it and they compared what the benefit would be compared to the impact of it, and because it's a nice, as we all know, it's a nice buffer running along Belterra right there. So then the Board of Trustees, I guess, I'm assuming they conferred with the village fire marshal.
Just
but
let's
we'll definitely
double check.
Of course, yeah, it's
Yeah,
a public
so
safety issue. We want to make
Why
sure.
is he changing his tune? the
I
fire
don't know. It's the
marshal?
same fire
Well,
marshal.
yeah.
Oh, sorry, I
Might
want
have
to
been
jump.
a
No,
different fire
go ahead.
marshal. I don't
Yeah,
even know.
I-
It might have been a new guy. Or they've had a couple of changes.
Be a new
and then we
guy.
check-
I-
right, so it might
Well,
not
it's the same fire marshals.
It is.
It's the same
It's the
fire
same fire
marshal.
marshals.
Yeah.
They,
Yeah.
I think, I don't, they're the plan.
They're just taking another shot at it.
No, the
basically.
plans
Well-
they saw had it on there. And
Yeah.
they told, they were, like, originally the first plan, and we brought it up to them preliminarily. They saw it. They wanted it there.
They
They
wanted
felt it was appropriate, because their biggest concern is if you go to the northern part of the site, they were concerned if an incident occurs somewhere in that main entrance. I know it has the right roadway width, and they said they recognized it wasn't technically required, but they felt they would be more comfortable having a second access there. We mentioned that during the very first staff report. Then I wasn't aware, I found out that at the date of the approval of the change of zone, where it changed, where they didn't think it was, or they said it wasn't required anymore. And the covenants and restrictions were just updated in March to reflect, it originally had an exception that they're allowed to clear to make the access. That was removed. Then, once we got this most recent engineering set, I reached out to DPW and the fire marshals just to ask them to review it. I wanted them to get their input on it, because I was trying to get as much coordination as possible on this, just to help expedite it, but also just in case there was any major concerns, we could address it. And both DPW and the fire marshals saw this, and they were concerned that it was gone, and they
Yeah.
felt it should be provided.
So,
Again, I'm not trying to make
Yeah, no, right, no. of
But
course.
it
Yeah.
makes sense if anything terrible happens at the entrance and there's no secondary entrance.
yeah.
It might make sense, yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
it's just that, it was, again, I think the trustees did a balancing act, and it said it's a
However-
pretty
Yeah.
impactful to
Oh, it is.
put an
It-
access
yeah.
off of Belterra
the-
Road, and
yeah.
also affects the Princess Court development next door. So I think that's some of the concerns that the
But,
trustees have.
but your
If I
question
may.
was, why did the fire marshal change? They didn't change. They had
sound
one
like-
set of
yeah.
plans that they said, hey, this'll work.
Right.
And
Well, that's
now,
right, yeah. mean,
I don't know that
the village attorney spoke with them or not.
yeah, and I don't know that
It
the
may-
village
yeah,
can
right,
supersede
right.
both the fire marshal.
Yeah, I'm not
and
so- I
planning
don't know
board
if
site
they
plan.
superseded it. I don't know that.
Well, it was sent to them as part of the coordinated review.
Well,
to have it
but
in August.
we were given, during that coordinated review, I'm gonna say this on record, that I completely object because we were given a very narrow mandate during that SEQA review. It wasn't, we didn't get a full environmental assessment form to review. All that we were given as our input was, is this okay as a zoning change? Does it conform to our code? Fine. So that's the only part, that's the only impact that we had on SEQA. Never saw any kind of drainage plans, never saw construction plans, nothing. We were, no.
No, I'm agreeing.
So-
I'm just saying,
so
the point is what?
The point is that if we are assuming that the fire marshal and DPW also had input on SEQA, I might say that they thought also it was a much more narrow scope. That it was only in terms of, is it okay to have this rezoned?
I don't know about that.
If I may, just two things. The first is the entranceway is the same that's been there for 100 years. When the main building was there and 400 odd people were using the facility every day. As far as the SEQA, it was a coordinated review. It was sent to all involved agencies, and based upon what the board received from them is how the board made their decision. I can speak to Jim. I understand your point. I'll speak to Jim, and
Yeah,
we'll
I'm-
work out the legality of it. I
I'm more than
understand
happy
that.
to talk to the fire marshal. I don't know what the village attorney and during the board of trustees process, did they review
Yeah, because
everything?
I'm
with
getting the
fire marshal?
impression that they went way farther than just a zoning change. It's almost like
who's they?
the trustees, it's almost like they're weighing in on site plan
No, I
with
don't
that
know.
condition.
They're the
Well,
legislative
maybe-
body, but
Yeah, yeah. No, I think you fully
Site
expect
plan
this
does not
board
trustees.
to review your site plan and obviously consider all the site plan issues,
Right.
drainage and everything else that you're supposed to review. I was a little surprised, quite frankly, to see this back again, but
Sorry.
at the same time, we'll look at it. It's obviously it's a public safety concern, and that's always going to be the
And-
priority one that we look at. But
if I may, just one clarification. The original approval was basically written the morning of the hearing, and the provision that Dan is reciting was never put in the original approval. It's not like it was in the approval and approved and then taken out. It was eliminated from the original approval. Just want to be clear on that.
Yeah, they just revised the document to reflect it.
it's
what
you know,
he's saying is-
I don't know. I mean, I can I can speak with
How do
Dave and.
How do you feel about putting that second emergency access road in?
It's a bit of a problem because of really threefold. The first was, as part of eliminating it, there were certain benefits that the village wanted that we provided in lieu thereof. So it becomes a cost issue where we extended the sidewalks, we're doing traffic improvements that are not technically required due to our impact. So the idea was, this is what you want, what do you, give us direction. Because, as we said, we showed originally the roadway, then I was talking to one of the trustees, I had offered each of the trustees the opportunity to walk the site. And one of the trustees was concerned about the slope and what have you, and I said, you have to guide me, I'm prepared to do it. The issue that I have is that's been taken into consideration in an impact fee that's been agreed to, off-site improvements that are agreed to. The traffic that currently the chairman is looking for additional items above and beyond what we had agreed to, and that's coming into saying, okay, I didn't have to do this, so I could do that.
Wondering what else you could do.
If it becomes an issue, then it will tie up with the chairman as far as the additional traffic benefits that they wanted. Because based upon the science, our development does not require these improvements. These improvements were given as a public benefit. So What we'll do is, I understand what you're saying 100%. We'll research the law. I'll get it back to Jim, and we'll address it with you.
Yeah,
And
we'll
have the
follow.
fire marshal weigh in
Absolutely,
on
yeah,
it.
we'll weigh in,
Yeah.
and then, actually, wanna-
I was gonna say,
Yeah, that's what I'm,
the one thing I want to add is I don't know if during, so that coordinator review was back in August. I believe they were, again, we're gonna check the record, I believe they were sent to it at the time. I don't know if they ever gave formal comments at that time, because I don't know if they knew the process. Not anyone's fault,
Sounds like there's a little bit of a
there's a lot of,
disconnect.
exactly. There's a lot of that went on. I showed it to them in October, but I also wasn't aware of the
Do your thing.
change.
Okay.
okay,
Very
so
good.
moving on.
Maybe
Anything
everyone's
else?
responding.
Well, I'm sure there's more. right?
That's why.
Just a little bit.
Yes, a little, I'm sorry.
But we agree to it, just let you know.
Thank
going
you,
in.
I appreciate that. Okay, so I mean, I guess we'll site access and stuff. I know Ray had some comments on the traffic impact statement that was done. There were some revisions made to it. I just didn't know if everything was addressed as of yet entirely. I think, right, you guys were still working on?
Yeah,
Traffic.
there were additional requests that we had just gotten access to the box, if you would. So we're going over it, and we'll be reaching out to him. In the approval, you wanted an address of the, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, it was February 2nd. You wanted a written response, which we'll provide.
Awesome, okay. So that just is that. Internal roadways and navigation, right, we did, I don't know if you want to show that pretty cool apparatus plan. They did provide a lot of what we asked for, right, showing the turning radiuses, showing how emergency vehicles will maneuver throughout the site. I did also show that with the fire marshals, and I think they found it acceptable. So that was something that was, I think, a benefit for the application, you know, accurate responding to us. I'm trying to remember if we had any major comments on that front besides saying, I guess if the board finds that plan to be acceptable, but I know we did, I think the fire marshals are pretty okay with it.
And we did address the snow removal.
Yes, which is
Thank you.
on this plan. All right, so we did fire marshal already, I'll skip over that. They did, I mean, I guess they did have the other few comments about I know the gate. I wasn't sure if everything was addressed just yet in these plans about one of them was about the emergency gate, just making sure it has some kind of audible alarm or some kind of way for apparatus. I'm
problem.
sure it's standard.
Where's the emergency gate?
Sorry?
Where is the emergency?
No, it wasn't an emergency.
Sorry,
It was
the
the front
primary.
gate. In the event of an emergency, that to the extent that there's an arm, that it goes up automatically. It was a fire department request that we comply with.
Yeah. It's usually when we pull up, we'll blast the sirens and it'll open for
It's
the.
unmanned.
Right
The
now,
gate?
yes.
Yeah.
An AI,
Automatic.
an AI god.
Then the only one I did have a question on is because they mentioned two separate water service connections, and they said one for domestic water, one for dedicated sprinkler system service.
Fire, yeah.
Yeah, I
Right.
think right now there's one water line shown throughout it, so I don't know if that.
Typically, that can be either way. It was designed with one. What we wanted to do is, we just got the comment, we'll speak to the DPW and work it out with them.
Okay.
One of the other questions DPW had was, who's maintaining the internal water? That's going to be private, run by the condominium.
Okay. That was the last question. So thank you for that. All right. So then we go to all the technical details, which I know this is where we started recommending. We reviewed a lot of it, but then started adding engineering recommendations in there just to again verify everything. We talk about the water supply and sanitary systems, right? They've provided us as requested a utility plan showing basically the locations of connection points for electric, for gas, for water supply. They also show us about with Suffolk County Total Health. I can't speak. The sanitary, yes, sewer connections. So the only things we were really asking for was just making sure service availability. You know, if that's written statements or that's just confirmation from those agencies involved that you know, this project's able to be accommodated. I'm assuming you guys are already working on that.
Does that
Yes.
line run down Myrtle?
Yes, it does.
Yeah. And then
Sewer line?
so is that part of your recommendation, the planning board should refer the proposed utility infrastructure
yeah,
to the
so
village's consulting engineer?
we had it as part of it. So
Yeah.
we said again, the plan seems to generally address what we've raised besides maybe that water line. We might have to discuss that with the fire marshals, but otherwise, yeah, that's maybe a potential point you guys might want to refer, just to have them, again, take a look at it, make sure they have no issue with where it's being
Normally
connected.
do one line?
Depends upon the municipality. In Brookhaven, one line, in Smithtown, two.
Could they do that at the same time as they're looking at all the drainage calculations?
That was the next point, yeah.
Yeah.
So we put this, we put it all together. We put drainage, we put utilities, the slopes and the regrading of the site, and the clearing we threw, and the last one was construction staging, which we threw all that as recommendations for engineering, just because I figured.
Yeah, I mean, I'm wholeheartedly for an outside engineering review.
Awesome. But for what it's worth.
For stormwater, drainage, all of that, and the slopes.
Yes.
You know, the construction.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean,
The-
for what it's worth. Oh, sorry. go
Okay,
ahead.
keep going.
Oh, sorry. I know I got a lot of stuff. Yeah, for what it's worth, we did review a lot of these, and a lot of them, again, to our, or my extent possible, I verified from a planning perspective, a lot of them were sufficient, I think, just making sure that engineering review was kind of the biggest thing. The additional comments at the end of it, we mentioned architectural significance. Again, there were some elevations submitted as part of this. While they don't include Foley dimensions yet, maybe giving this an early look to the ARC, something the board might want to consider, just so they can start getting their input on it. I know we don't have much on the clubhouse yet. I believe that's something we requested.
Yes.
Elevations.
It's
and
being prepared right now. One of the parts of the clubhouse was to see what materials we could use and to make it kind of a Spanish look. So the
Okay.
architects are working on that. That should be submitted within about 2 weeks.
Awesome. Okay.
But do the units look in the Spanish?
No,
No,
no.
okay.
We
Is there
might
a
use,
rendering?
we're gonna try to reuse materials there, but I do have draft elevations in that final if you'd like to see them.
Yeah, thank you. Because, if you have something as, colonial as this, I'm probably using the wrong thing, but then all of a sudden you have the Spanish architecture for the
That
clubhouse.
was, I agree 1,000%, but that was the middle ground with the Board of Trustees. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna incorporate it into the clubhouse, and then we're gonna see what materials we can reuse for these. We have but the first couple of pages show different elevations, just thoughts. We understand we're gonna be going through architectural committee.
They're very thorough.
Oh, it's different colors. That's cool.
We're looking for the clubhouse?
Yeah.
There is no clubhouse yet.
Oh.
It's in preparation.
Okay.
These are the units.
I mean, there are some colors in some of these units that could,
Are we
blend.
referring this to the architectural review committee again, once we get all of the elevations?
Yeah, so I mean, that's what we recommend. You guys do it now or wait for the clubhouse for elevations and then.
Wait for the clubhouse and then do
Yeah.
it all together.
Well, if it's okay, what we're gonna do is we're gonna submit it to the architectural review committee and start a dialogue with them.
Okay.
Yeah.
somewhere in all the materials, the trustees wanted a sidewalk from High Street all the way up to Belterre Road.
Yes.
Is that still in the works?
Yes, we're actually meeting with the walking committee. We had a preliminary meeting, and we're gonna have a site meeting in April.
Okay, because I noticed there's a lot of telephone poles and boulders that have to be
Yeah.
moved. All doable?
Doable, we have different suggestions. That's the purpose of going onto the site. Because it's hard to describe, even with whatever is available. The best way is just to walk. So we're gonna have our consultants with the walking committee, and we're gonna go through the site, and we'll figure it out. That was trustee Kyle Hills. He was sitting in with the committee on that, so we're working with him on that.
And it's on the south side of Myrtle Avenue, right? That was
The
south side?
east side of Myrtle going up and then going around the south side.
Okay.
South side. Oh, right, yes. The east
Yeah,
side.
the east
The
side
same
of
side
Myrtle.
of the project, right? Is that what you're saying, no, Myrtle? Which,
Yeah, going up Myrtle,
from High
from High Street, it would be on
on the
the
right side as you're going up.
south side, east side,
But
the
all
right
on the
hand,
same
going
side?
up.
Yeah, on your right-hand
It's all
side.
on
Yeah.
the same side as your project?
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
Makes sense.
If Yeah, some people don't like sidewalks, because, people say that looks like Nassau County, right? And other people
What?
recommend,
Sidewalk.
The only issue on the sidewalks
all the
is
time.
that it's subject to obtaining property owner's consent where we're going through. And the understanding that we have with the village is we will build the sidewalks, but to the extent there's consent and anything else, that was something we'd have to work collectively with the village on. And we have different ideas walking through, so.
And who maintains them?
Well, once it's built, it's the
Village.
village gonna maintain it, absolutely, that's gonna be the, yeah. Yeah,
There's a lot of water coming down there.
yeah, it's a concern.
Okay, but there's one real main part.
Yeah. So I guess, Parker, if you want to go to I think, no, it's the very last, I can't remember if it's the very last or very first point about the disturbance. I think it's maybe it's the first plan. The one that shows the limits of clearing and the limits of, so I think it's, this one. So this is what we asked for last time, was showing the cleared area on the project site and the limits of disturbance and potential impacts to it. I think what we were looking for is just some clarification to make sure everything in here is fully within what's currently disturbed. I couldn't, with the building relocation and and some of the reconfiguration of it, I think that's something we just wanted to make sure wasn't going beyond what was already approved by the board. But I don't know if you're able to provide on that point, but.
The existing tree line is going to be respected and not be changed.
So my understanding was in your environmental impact form, you said nothing is going to be disturbed that isn't already.
On the perimeter, yes. Because there's some miscellaneous trees in the middle and things like that.
Okay,
Retaining
right,
walls that
but
be-
like in general. So
In general,
then
yes.
we need to see the formal demolition and construction staging plans and all of that shows that you're going to stay
Yep.
within.
Well, that changes if they put in that fire lane.
Well, it's just part of the,
Yeah.
I'm just bringing it up as we're going to need it.
Okay.
It's in
And then
preparation right
within
now.
that, lawyer-wise, so if we had been doing the full environmental assessment, I would have said, yes, there's going to be impact to air, and you would have had to provide how you're going to contain all the hazardous materials when you're demolishing it. So since that, I think we should still see that.
That's included.
And see that you're,
That's included in the approval.
okay.
Yeah, that was actually one of the things that when we were doing a secondhand look at it, we brought up, because they did a whole assessment. Well, this is something we've asked them
Right.
hopefully to submit to the planning board, because there is a whole abatement plan and an assessment of
We just need,
course.
Like-
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, that'd definitely be addressed at the time as part of the approval for the demolition. You're talking about the main building.
Well, the whole,
the whole thing,
Yeah.
anything that has, right, because you need to coordinate with the state in order to satisfy all their requirements, which is what we would have addressed had we done SECRA.
The
Just saying.
SWIP is going to be approved, and actually the SWIP is approved by both the village and the state.
Okay.
You're talking about remediation, though, not SWIP.
not SWIP, yeah.
Yeah, I'm talking about the demolition.
We're going to give you a demolition plan, a remediation plan, and a safety plan that's going to be
Air quality
included in there on air quality and what we're doing to make
Thank
sure there's no hazardous.
The last things were just, we mentioned the landscaping plan. They've submitted a very comprehensive one. I would recommend referral to the CAC or the tree committee, or both, just to get their eyes on the landscaping plan. That's also one of the things the board is supposed to consider as part of the parking discussion. It's one of the conditional use mentions, just the adequate landscaping provided for the parking areas and the project site. That's one of the conditional use standards for multiple dwellings. Obviously, maintenance will be probably a condition of approval. Making sure whatever is approved, that's always there within a certain amount of time frame. And the last thing was ADA compliance. We just want to make sure, going forward, we're going to refer it to building DPW, make sure ADA-wise we're fully covered as well, so.
And the photometric.
Yes,
We
the
gotta
lighting
look at
plan,
that.
which I would we reviewed it, found everything was fully shielded, dark sky compliant. It does show none of the lighting seems to spill off the property lines, which I think part of the natural buffer being there, as well as where the lighting's proposed, more in the interior of the site. We recommended it was appropriate. But that's something the board might want to discuss tonight or review, but.
I haven't looked at it.
It's okay.
Dark,
Yeah.
dark sky compliant?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, fully shielded, dark sky compliant.
So, the planning board chair received a letter yesterday from a resident regarding the historical significance of
Yes.
the project. Did you get a chance to see it?
Was it dated, I believe it was?
Yesterday, right, March 19th.
That's a
That's
new one.
today.
We just got that one
That's a new
today.
one.
Oh.
Yeah, we just got that.
Is there another one?
Copy of it?
Yeah,
No.
there was
But
another
there was
letter.
one there was one before that.
Similar?
It should have been in the,
He's clarifying a letter of March 9th, which was his initial letter.
Okay,
there was a letter March 9th.
same resident.
Same resident.
Okay,
And same principle, that
same idea.
ba-
Okay.
basically the member of the local historic society submitted the project for an eligibility determination from New York State Historic Preservation Officer, SHPO. Basically to see if there was any historical significance to it. SHPO did review it, and we have a letter from November 10th or 12th indicating that the property is eligible on their standpoint, under the area of health and medicine. As a significant property, it was built in 1929. Basically what that means, actually, I don't know if you want to jump in on me, but basically what that means is that usually goes by the option of the property owner. You could choose to register it with the the federal or the state historic registration. That gives you certain protections, the property owner, certain protections of the building, but the property owner still maintains eligibility to technically take it down,
Yeah.
or could
And it
remove
was considered, I think, one of the points that the author of the letter, the first one particularly, had said that this was new information that wasn't considered by the Board of Trustees, but it was. It was clearly, it was before them. The same facts, same issues were before the Board of Trustees before they made their decision on the change of zone. So, and I actually, I don't know if you got a copy, but I think Cindy sent that out. I wrote a letter addressing his concern. I haven't seen this one, but addressing his concerns in the March 9th one.
You responded to
I
him?
did.
Okay.
I did, yeah.
And
so.
just to shed some light, Catholic Health St. Charles wasn't aware of it. And when we informed them, we have 2 letters from Catholic Health saying that they did not want to be listed or eligible, and they objected to it.
Did you acquire the property?
We are hopefully acquiring at the end of this month. The updated report clarified a couple of things, and we got that yesterday and submitted it to the lender. So we're knocking on the door.
Okay.
Is it better this time?
Is that it?
Did we go
Dawn,
through? I
Dan?
think we went through
That
all of your points.
Yeah, I mean, there's minor things thrown in there that were like small edits and clarifications. But I think everything else that's like our biggest, points at this point.
So what's next?
So there is we did request a lot. We mentioned the engineering. So I don't know if the board wants to establish an escrow amount. Again, the same recommendations there, 5,000. Just to have engineering take a look at this, give you some more comments on it. We did ask for obviously a lot of clarifications.
Are you okay with
Yes.
that number?
Yes.
Okay, so we get a letter
For
out.
all of them, though?
Whatever it
Is it
is.
5,000 for each one, or all
Overall.
two? Okay.
Yeah, so I mean, the scope we're recommending is the drainage, the grading. We did mention the roadway design and utility connections, and I think any clearing. So I don't know if you want to add on to that, but that's.
Are they going to weigh
Because
in
you'll
on the
need
fire
a-
department?
Well, I've asked them to. I would recommend that they look at the roadways and the internal site navigation to make sure.
Yeah, I
Well,
think
that-
it might be helpful to have Haiti.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I just want to make sure within that is
Do
going
that,
to be the
yeah, so-
foundations of the buildings that are on the slope,
Yes.
Yes,
because I don't know how
I
that's going
understand
to
your
happen.
concern.
Yeah,
We'll
I just
address
want
it.
to see it.
Yeah, so just as long as that's in that also, because to me
100%.
that would almost be its own, whatever, it's fine.
Yeah. Well, they might. That's the thing is, typically it's around. They think it might be around 2,500 for additional reviews. So if they
Okay.
need to do more, we'll probably have to bring that back.
Whatever it is.
Okay.
Yeah.
We understand your concern. We want it also.
We did ask for it. I don't know if there's something that's. I mean, you said you might want to point out the points about the slope analysis. We kind of wanted to see if. At least I was recommending maybe a plan that could identify the areas of steep slopes, any potential disturbance or regrading to them. We've had other applicants do that in the past, just so you can see the amount of cut and fill that's being done, the amount of disturbance.
So I agree with you, but if they're staying within the already cleared area, nothing should be,
Well, this.
Am
We're
I-
not affecting the major slopes.
Just-
We're not affecting.
am I right?
Yes, you're
You know where
correct.
that building is? The one in the.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's what so that's
We're
why
only
I
building-
want that
like-
review,
We're building on the
because
disturbed. I understand what you're looking for. We'll prove that out for you. We're just as concerned.
right. So if this doesn't work out, then I would say
Okay.
they would have to do that.
Okay, so maybe we'll do engineering first.
Yes,
And
and
then
then see.
Just for clarification, we did the before and after of the topography. What Dan's asking for is something additional, but we show what's before and we show what's after.
That's
So-
true.
Okay.
And then, yeah, it's just the remainder of the comments that are.
Pardon me? Could you repeat that? I
No,
missed-
then it just says the remainder of the comments at that point. So that, I don't know if the lighting, the landscaping, the referrals, if you want to refer to the ARC and the CAC.
Well, we should make a formal referral to ARC and tree clear, what?
The
I'm sorry.
CAC,
The CAC and the
CAC.
tree committee
Okay.
were, both have expressed
right.
they wanted to be involved in these types of projects, so we
Okay.
would recommend their
And I had, all
coordination.
oh, do
right, so
you
we have
want
got a
this?
couple things to do. Is
Oh,
that
okay.
any other
Are there
thoughts?
princess trees on the property?
I'm sorry?
Are there princess trees on the property?
I apologize. I don't know what princess trees
Oh,
are.
well, there's actually condominiums on Beltier Road called Princess Tree.
Okay.
And I once asked somebody, is there really such a thing? And they said, yes, and there is a princess tree on the property.
I have a
Apparently.
landscaping plan. I have the engineer if you want, or I could follow up with
Neither
it,
have
whatever
I.
you'd like.
Well, apparently
Something
it's
new.
protected or something to that effect. I was just curious as if it's on your property. Or
I don't know. I'll get back to you on that. I'm sorry.
check it out.
Yes. I never heard about that
So
before.
should we get started? Okay. I think the first order of business is to declare the application as a major subdivision.
I make a motion to declare the application as a major subdivision.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, second point is to refer the application to the ARC and the CAC?
CAC
And the
tree
tree
committee.
And the tree committee. So there's three different,
Yeah, there's
Committees?
three different, yeah.
Do,
okay.
do we need, I motion that we do that?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
I think that might be it.
Then engineering.
Inspection
Yeah, we
fees?
already
Here, I'm
agreed.
sorry. Well,
Oh, I guess you guys decided, right? 5,000 was the.
we didn't make a motion with Matt.
If
but
I
we do
can,
it
if I
right now.
can just jump in on
Sure.
that. Let's provide for a beginning escrow, and we will replenish it as necessary, as required by planning, just because I don't want to hold up. You know, whatever it is, we will post.
All right, so, make a motion to establish an escrow for an outside engineering study to be replenished as needed.
Thank you.
Also motion.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye. Do we need a motion to send it off to an engineering?
I just did that.
Yeah, we just did.
Okay,
just
I
did
thought
that.
it was just for the escrow.
The escrow to go to, for
It's the
money to
same,
go
Yeah.
to,
yeah.
money for an
So we'll
outside
send you guys a
engineer.
letter
Okay.
with all
Thank
that
you.
in there.
Maybe I wasn't clear enough. All right, I think we're all set.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay.
Do you want these back?
No,
No?
unless you don't want them.
Oh, my sister would love to see it. Can I show it to my sister?
Absolutely.
Okay.
What else? What else?
Sawtooth.
Getting there.
Do you mind if I use the restroom real quick?
Sure.
Thank you for your time.
Hey, now,
Thank you. Just take a 5-minute break.
Pee break?
Is that application with two Sorry. Okay,
Thank you.
94 Sawtooth Cove, tree clearing and grading.
Okay. so-
Staff update.
Yeah, so this was one you might remember. It's in the Riviera. It has Highland?
Yes,
Riviera.
Riviera.
I apologize. I get confused.
Yes.
Huh? I did. I know. I was.
Riviera is the one that's in between Old Post and Oakwood,
Yes.
Yes.
up on the hill.
Yes.
Correct.
Okay, so it's one of the back lots. There was 4 pine trees that white pines that they wanted to propose to remove. This was brought before the board, I think, at the last meeting. It was requested that they submit a formal plan, like a survey showing the location of the trees, and identifying the revegetation. We haven't received that. We have sent it though to the tree committee and the CAC. The biggest concerns is we don't have written comments on either, but the tree committee had no issue with it, but the CAC had an issue with it and didn't think they should be removed. So
What was the reason for the removal? I wasn't here last time.
they said yeah, they said, so they wrote a letter. I know we have a letter from their arborist indicating about the location of them. He's saying that they're starting to grow slightly towards the residents. The residents themselves wanted to remove because they weren't comfortable with how close they are to the home. Staff went out there. And our concern was that we didn't find it to be constitute an emergency situation, and I didn't see it. They were sure they could have been leaning a little, but we in our opinion, it was healthy. Again, we're not certified arborists, though. The arborist did say they're not getting healthier. They're older trees, but because it was more than 2, it had to go before the planning board.
Are they thin? They look
They're
thin.
right up there. Yeah, they're not huge.
I don't see which ones we're talking about. Like,
There's a plan where they're circled.
and is there history with this site? I feel like they did some tree topping at one point.
This is a private homeowner. Yeah.
No, I
Yes, you're right, but
Those are them.
this is these are fee simple property, and the McCourts are the owners of this land where these trees are. That tree topping, I think, is something else.
the whole thing,
Yeah,
the whole
right,
group. Okay,
right.
my bad. I forgot that the Riviera is privately owned. They're all privately owned.
Yes, they're
Some of
privately
them.
owned,
Okay.
but there is
Strange.
reserved land that's
Strange
around it.
setup up
Right.
there.
At this angle with the deck, they look pretty close.
Yeah, they're not. They're not right up. I don't know, like 10 feet.
Are they planning to revegetate with something else?
They
or
told
no?
us shrubs, and we asked for specifics. We
Right.
don't think we got. They haven't submitted
Maybe we
anything.
need to get a little better idea of a revegetation plan.
Yeah, we've been trying.
Well, keep trying. If not, we need to get a little more clarity.
Okay.
Yeah.
I tried going there to review it, but obviously we don't have certain rights to go around these properties and everything. So we were from the front entrance. It was hard to tell.
So what have you asked for at this point, that you're waiting
So the
on?
board asked for a survey showing the location of the trees that are to be removed, and a
Okay.
revegetation plan about
Yeah.
what's going to be planting. We just haven't
Haven't
received
gotten it.
anything. We just
Okay.
got in the CAC and tree committee, and they were
All right, so
opposing.
let's make another attempt at getting that information.
Did the tree committee say why they opposed it?
No, well, the tree committee didn't mind.
Oh,
As long
okay.
as native vegetation was proposed in lieu of it, like
Okay.
whatever it was, deer-resistant native.
So it was the CAC
It was the
that,
CAC. I think they felt they didn't need to come down. They didn't think they saw the arborist letter, they saw the plans, they just didn't feel there was a point to remove them. They just, that's my understanding. I only talked to trustee Giuliano about it. I wasn't at the CAC meeting, unfortunately, but I was at the tree committee, but.
Okay. All right. Okay.
So.
So if it's me, I wouldn't, so since it's a resident that's coming and doing all the right things, if they want to remove the trees, I think they should be able to remove their trees as long as they replant.
Okay.
That's my, I mean, it's their property. They're going through all the right, so the CAC could say they don't really need to be removed, but you know what? They're doing all the right things. It's their property. They should be able to take trees down as long as they follow the rules.
Yeah, I just think we need to see
Yes.
where the trees are and what the revegetation
Yes.
plan is, and then we can vote on it.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
All right.
I'm basically saying I don't agree with the CAC.
Okay.
Sorry.
All right.
Well, I don't think you
All right,
were
can we go on to
specific.
the
enough.
next
Yeah, we go
one?
on.
Okay, all right.
But that's fine. We'll memorialize
All right,
that.
7 Deerfield Court Site Development Plan.
Yes. So this is a very quick one.
Okay.
You guys asked for a revised survey showing the distance of setbacks. They have provided that, and it
Okay.
does show that they are under 5 feet. So we are
Okay.
recommending referral to the ZBA,
Okay.
so it could go.
I guess.
I motion we refer 7 Deerfield Court to the ZBA.
I second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, Mr., the other, we have, you're gonna be the
Oh,
new
and my
acting
turn.
chair. 'Cause I'm
Okay.
gonna step out of this one. I should say, I am going to recuse myself from this application.
It's the Town of Brookhaven referral for the Bayless Avenue office warehouse.
My concern is that.
Well, okay, go ahead.
Okay, that the road is, right, there are some residents on the eastern side of the road. And if these are warehouse units, are there going to be tractor trailers coming in?
Oh,
And that's the only ingress and egress.
did we
So
get?
this is oh, I'm sorry.
Oh, no, go ahead.
I was saying, this is an industrial zone property.
Yes.
There was a proposal to put residential here, and it
Yeah.
was denied
By the
So
town
the-
of Brookhaven.
by the town. So
Right.
the owners come back to propose a plan that meets zoning. It's industrial zone that's next to Lawrence Aviation, which may be a train yard one day. There are residences to the south. There are single-family homes, I think, to the east. The only access is from Sheep Pasture down Bailey's, across the tracks. But this is industrial zone. Brookhaven wanted to keep it industrial zoned. It's outside of the village. And they're referring it to us. It's 10,000 square feet for 60,000 square feet of warehouse on 6 acres. So they're referring it to us. What do we think of this site plan?
Well, I mean, I agree with what you said. I don't know that we can, I think the answer is I don't know that I don't know what is actually going to be stored there,
Well, that's the
warehouse-wise.
thing. I mean, if it was like a U-Haul or something, not U-Haul, but,
It's office and warehouse space. It's just storage, I think, right? It's like
Well, it
a,
looked like it was, if you looked at this.
There you go.
There's a plan. It looks like a front office space.
press hard.
There we go. Looks like there's front office space and then there's warehouse space in the back, and it's, from what I looked at, and I just had a brief look, but it was like, what, 6
Wait.
units in each, there's 6 units in each of the units, and there's 6 total units too, right? 10,000 square foot units. and each
6
unit is-
buildings, each building is 10,000 square feet.
Right, and each building is divided into 6 units, of which all 6 units, the way, this is the proposal, he's got
So this
office
is,
and then
this is
warehouse in the
10,000
back.
square feet.
yes.
And then he's got
That's 6 of
2
them.
bathrooms per,
So is
One
there a
sixth of a unit.
specific definition of warehouse? Is there a reason we're calling it warehouse as opposed, because this looks almost like commercial, you know, it's not going to be retail or anything, but it looks like it's built for offices.
This would be
And-
the
It's like
town zoning, not our zoning.
mini.
Exactly.
Right, I just meant, is there,
I can look
you
it
know
up.
how sometimes in legalese, there's
You
words
know,
that are,
the-
that
the-
are known.
The red sled that used to be on East Main Street, their warehouse was uptown, in the back of Dunright Electrical. And if you walked in there, because they had a once-a-year sale, it was really a rather large garage,
Okay.
but it was
So I mean,
called a
hypothetically, it
warehouse.
could be tractor trailers dropping off.
Could be.
Parker, you want to bring up the aerial?
Yeah.
Trying to see if, I'm checking Brookhaven's code right now too for warehouse.
And do we need to read in the traffic comments from Ray?
Yeah, I guess probably.
Or
Or
is
we
that
just-
just, because it's a work session, so you have his traffic
Yeah,
comments?
we're just
Yeah.
purely advisory, but,
Yeah.
I mean, we were talking also, Laura, I mentioned,
No, that was it. You had it.
I mentioned that
It's that and that extra.
Dan had reached out to the site plan reviewer for the town, Amy
Okay.
Moody, and I suggested maybe Dan and I would just meet with her, just to express, concerns that the village
Exactly.
may not have, so.
Also
Get a
to
little
the,
better idea of what the
right.
plan is, and
To the west is a fire road. I think it goes back to the Oh, I forgot the name of that complex.
Lawrence
On-
Aviation?
No, Piedmont Avenue, the apartments there.
Oh,
Oh,
okay.
I see it.
Yeah,
Oh,
used to be Heatherwood, I think.
Just so everyone's, any real trucks that come out of this will have to go east.
yeah.
In
Into the
theory, if they
village,
go west,
yeah.
they're going over a bridge that they're not supposed to.
Right.
Right.
So they're gonna go over the tracks there, and then east to,
It's the only ingress and egress.
Yeah.
So is it possible for, I mean, I'm assuming because it's it's already built, but when you're coming down to basically 112, you're heading east on sheep pasture, you go down that hill. If you have to turn right going south onto 112, can a tractor trailer make that turn?
That's tough.
That's
You're
tough.
right.
It's tight.
It-
Like, is it possible for them to make that
I don't
turn?
know.
A
That's
good
it's a
tractor
good question.
trailer driver.
So
can.
that would be
You
my,
would have to go into pull up, Parker, pull up,
You would have
street
to-
view
yeah, you
on
would have
Sheep
to come
Pasture.
Sheep
at
Pasture
that
and Main.
intersection.
Oncoming traffic to make that turn.
and that is already a very impacted area because of
good
the
point.
train station. So they need to somehow mitigate
Sure.
that
Yeah,
issue.
these are good points
Because
to
if-
express to the town of Brookhaven Planning Board,
No, no,
Right.
Go east.
staff and board. Yeah.
Board of Trustees.
That's,
Yeah,
that's what we're here.
The other
What's
So-
it? No,
Town board.
not Board of
So
Trustees.
Ray-
No, the planning board. It's not
Ray
town
put
board.
it,
Oh, now it
We
is
got
the
rid of the
town board.
planning
That's right,
board.
right. That's right, it's town, you're right.
so
town board.
Ray,
Town board acting as the
You're
planning board.
talking about, Laura,
Right
is
here.
right there,
Yeah.
right where that
Yeah.
pickup truck is.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
a
that
tractor
intersection.
trailer would have to turn, you can go one more. Right there, to make a right, it would be very
Yeah.
tough for them.
so I think I agree with Ray's comment, is a traffic impact assessment should be required by the town
Absolutely.
for that intersection, as well as for the Sheep Pasture Road Bayless Avenue intersection. The assessment should include traffic capacity and safety analysis, including a description of the type of trucks
Yes.
serving the proposed facility, as well as an evaluation of physical turning movements for trucks, since the right turn curb radii at these intersections are tight due to existing buildings.
Especially since they could not, if they go west, they'll go over the bridge with a 3-ton limit. That is
Yeah,
a
and
100-year-old
then-
timber bridge.
Well,
Which they
Ray
plan to
said they're gonna
replace.
replace, so it said the assessment should include 2 build scenarios, for example, for the before and after the completion of that bridge. But even that
Exactly.
corner, I don't know how they would
Yes.
turn there.
Tight, too.
So
Exactly.
Ray put it much better.
Yeah.
Or leave it to the traffic
The
engineer.
traffic engineer. yeah.
So take Ray's comments in the letter.
Ray's comments.
Okay.
But the town wants this redeveloped per industrial zoning. They did not want the residents.
Well,
true.
unintended consequences, right?
Yeah, but they're
Well,
going
yeah,
on our
I mean, I think
property.
they
They're,
didn't
they're
want
on,
the-
they're
I
on
think there's a lot of
village.
reasons.
That's the irony. You have to access it from village property. I always thought the village should have annexed this site.
So it was offered, but the village turned it down. There was they did.
Well,
come-
the town turned it down.
Sorry, the town also
Ta-
turned it down. They
Town
both-
didn't
Town
want
had
it.
turned it down first, though.
Sorry, okay,
The
yes.
town gave, yeah, it was the town clearly did not want the property to be annexed from them.
Right.
They made
So
that very clear.
But you can only access this property by going through the
Village.
village.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, the other thing I would like to know or have as part of the process is, limit their hours of operation to reasonable hours so that the, residents aren't impacted by, 2
Noise.
in the morning deliveries. Cause we know if it is tractor trailers and they show up at 2 in the morning and somebody's there, they're gonna
Yep.
they're gonna
Oh, they go over
offload.
those
Yeah.
tracks. Boom, boom, boom.
Well, I mean, imagine being across the street and it's like, hey, do you got that truck? Or, do you have that
Yeah.
box? It's going to be loud.
Feel bad for 'em.
So I would say that,
Okay.
It's a very good point.
yeah, and lighting, because then if it's not manned or there aren't people there at night, it needs
Well,
to be
all lighting
lit.
should be dark skies.
Well, but
Yeah.
I meant more, so it's not an area for loitering at night.
Yeah, there's a
Um,
plan there, but I don't know if it has hours of operation or.
The bad zoning decision was, here was to kind of cut this property off from access from the south. They built that apartment complex.
Yeah.
And they cut
Yeah.
they cut this
Yeah.
off completely. They should have reserved access.
Well, they didn't, because Bayless is a road that happens to go over the railroad tracks, but it's just a village road.
So lighting, part of our code also is that they need to shield any parking
Screening. yeah.
screening, so I would say they need to address that to, I don't know what their code is, but I would assume that they need to have some sort of screening.
Yeah.
Lighting, traffic,
Is noise
hours of
part of it?
operation, noise.
Noise,
Well, that was my hours of
abatement.
operation
Oh,
thing.
You're right, so that would be
Right.
noise. Yeah.
Noise abatement.
It would have been nice if the village, obviously, didn't want it and the town didn't want to give it up, to then give it part of Lawrence Aviation Site and expand that proposed solar farm that's gonna be built there, and the proposed train
The
yard.
railroad station, and that could still happen, who knows? right?
And what is there currently?
Nothing.
It's a big
Nothing.
field.
Oh, okay.
Vacant site.
So when they demolish or do anything, there's no real
Nothing to
hills
demolish.
there.
There's
No,
nothing
it's
about
pretty
the
I
mall.
meant, sorry,
Oh, when
when
they
they,
do the construction.
construction, when they start digging,
I
can they
mean-
do it all on their site?
It could be another comment.
Yeah, right?
Yeah,
It has to
that-
be
There's,
completely contained.
Yeah, they'll
Runoff
excavate
from
on their
Lawrence
site.
Aviation.
So
What,
ba-
what,
that
what
drainage.
throws me though is
Yeah.
I thought that including the town of Brookhaven, there was a limit to only, I forgot what the percentage was, 40% pavement, and you had to leave a certain amount open space. And here it looks like the whole thing is gonna be paved.
Yeah.
I don't see.
So
any open
drainage.
space. I don't see any,
Sure.
um,
Well, this is, as you understand, this is just what they submitted. you
my
know.
brain is farting.
right,
This is the very beginning of the Brookhaven's review of this, so.
so they need to contain all their,
Fully contained.
yeah.
Do you want a certain level, like a 3-inch, 100-year?
I would say the 100-year, because if
years.
it's it's gonna go on to village
Yeah.
property if it,
I don't know what the lot coverage is for L1 in
In the
Brookhaven,
town, yeah.
But that's, yeah.
Yes. And a lighting plan?
wait, what?
All the
You
things
say
that
it.
you were just
Yeah,
talking
that's
about.
Okay.
There's a fence shown around the parking.
Oh, it's a, what's, oh. That's probably security for,
Yeah, so is a fence, can we ask that it's opaque? No, wait,
With slats. It
the
can be-
opposite of being able to be seen through.
Right.
My brain
yeah,
hurts
yeah,
so
like
bad.
a solid
Yeah,
fence, we'll just say it's
Not
a.
opaque.
So if you have
opaque,
the,
right?
the
That is
a
opaque,
wire
yeah.
fence, they can put
Opaque is right.
slats.
Opaque is right.
Opaque's
You're-
right.
You're
Okay.
right, you're right. the
Yeah,
first
you're
time.
right.
We
Trust
don't wanna
yourself
see,
more.
thank you. We don't wanna see through it.
So you want
Thank
the.
you,
Do we
better.
have a fencing detail? Do you know if we have a fencing detail? We
Do they
might.
have a zoning table on these plans anywhere?
I thought I saw it, yeah, there it is.
Lot
Does it have the,
area.
does it have the clearing limit? on there?
Minimum land.
Still can't read it.
Yeah, I can't read it. Side yard setback 50 feet. It says they're provided.
So wait, they're providing 30% on landscape area. I don't see it.
Oh, so
What?
there's-
Special permit,
For the buffer zone, so they have 30 feet provided, and they're supposed to have 75 per,
oh,
per the
oh.
port stage.
Waiver required, there's a variance.
I give you a mic. Let me give you
Yeah.
a mic.
So we should say, we should
Parker's-
want that 75-foot buffer retained.
You, yeah?
residential to the south,
Yeah.
guess, right?
Well, it's any
There's
residential.
residential to
There's
the
residential to the south, a residential to their northeast corner.
Yeah.
If you scroll up, Parker.
Brookhaven properties, right?
Yes.
do we have
Well, I
these?
think the residential properties
Did we
are
get these?
Port Jeff, the ones
To
that
the
are on the
east?
east, yeah.
Oh, really? On that side? I thought it was.
What is the
I
village
thought Sheep Pasture
boundary
was the
here?
federal.
And, I didn't have a chance to look through the environmental form. Did you look through that?
Not yet. I haven't.
Okay.
I mean, what I could do is, I could draft.
The railroad tracks to the boundary.
Oh, the railroad tracks to the
So
boundary?
those two homes are in the town of Brookhaven.
Right there.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, everything, yeah. Essentially, everything south of Sheep Pasture is.
I'll take it. Short?
Did you guys send us those plans? Or did you do a OneDrive?
Well, this is important.
So there's an FEAF, so it's probably
there's
type
a-
1
there's a
action,
line.
I guess.
There are homes in the village.
Oh, yeah.
On the other side of lot 3 there, and that's in the village, so there would be trucks turning south on Bayless, going over the railroad tracks, past village residential homes to get here.
Yeah.
So it is affecting
Yeah.
village residences.
Yes.
Right. That's why I want the hours limited to whatever business is reasonable. Right?
And that was his argument for the annexation, to have it residential. He thought it was gonna be less impactful to the surrounding area.
And it would have been.
Yeah, the town was adamant they didn't want it.
They got a lot of pushback about the proposed train yard and everything, and,
Yeah.
which.
Which could happen, and this property could be swallowed up with that,
Yeah.
you know.
But what's ironic is, to the south,
I'm gonna hold
there's
my
an
breath.
existing residential multifamily complex anyway.
No, standing on its own, if it was in the village, it would have been a terrible, what Jimmy was proposing wouldn't have been a terrible application.
So their hours of operation are 7 a.m. to 6 p.m. is what they're currently indicating. During construction and during operation is what they have in the FEAF.
Yeah, I would disagree with the 7 a.m. I think it should be, when is it okay to start using leaf blowers?
Oh, God, never.
I think it is 7.
I think it is
for the
7.
village.
No.
Yeah,
In the village, it's early.
yeah,
Out east, it's a little later,
Is
but
it 7?
7.
I think so.
You're not even allowed to use gas blower.
No, out east, you can't
powered,
use gas anymore.
You can't use gas
But
powered
I think the
leaf
6
blowers.
PM is unrealistic if it's, offices and warehouse.
You think you said realistic or
Unrealistic,
you think they need it later? Like,
8.
yeah.
Oh, see, I would say do less because, I mean, I just feel bad for the people living over there.
Yeah, I do too.
That, 7 in the morning, they're gonna have trucks coming
I
by.
mean, they do hear trains starting off at 4:30, 5 o'clock.
That's
Oh,
true.
they go from
Yeah.
2 AM on,
Yeah,
yeah.
I hear them.
Mm.
I'm over by Scraggy Hill, but on a clear night, yeah, I hear them.
But those
Last couple of
residences
nights,
that
I
are
think that there
north
was
of
a
the
train
track
running at high decibels.
on
Oh,
Chief
4
Hester
acres of-
are Port Jeff homes.
We just gotta see if it's designed to a 100-year storm event. I don't know if that's.
That's what I was trying
Yeah.
to. So it looks like they're gonna have a vegetative buffer, at the end, at the southwest side.
Yeah. Right now, they're indicating it's
2-inch rainfall.
4.23 acres of paved surfaces.
So if you look at right there, a 2-inch rainfall in leaching,
It's intense.
2 inches
Yeah.
is,
This is
I would say not enough. That's not a 100-year storm.
Oh, and there's remediation going on here too.
Well, it says per town of, on the left, storage provided for 5-inch rainfall in leaching structures with 3-inch ponding.
That says 2-inch rainfall, not.
That's
Yeah.
Bayless Avenue. So over there, the drainage calculation says 5-inch rainfall.
For on-site.
I don't know what they mean by Bayless Avenue. Are they containing some runoff from Bayless?
Perhaps.
It is drainage. Let's see.
Is that what they're doing?
Yeah, it must be. But yeah, there's some new.
But their site is for 5 inches, and I'm gonna say with all that impervious land, maybe that's not enough. But I don't know if we can ask for more.
We can recommend it.
You can recommend it. As a
Everything
board.
we can do is recommendation. We recommend limiting hours, we recommend the stormwater.
100-year event. I'll draft something over. But a 100-year stormwater event.
Storm.
Yeah.
And
100-year
then
storm. Be able to accommodate a 100-year storm. That's the way to. USDA. Yeah, it's got soil remediation. It says there's. I mean, again, I don't know. Some of this might not be. Oh, technically, the William Tooker house is that right? How close is this to Tooker?
It's across the street.
Tucker's right on the
Oh,
street,
it's right across. So
Yeah.
it mentions that in the FEAF potential impacts.
Yeah.
to the William Tooker House. Safeguarded from neglect and demolition not located on site. Not yet. DRIs.
It's so strange that the details are the same. Let's see.
You can see the whole site is a field right now.
We're not recommending they provide it, just recommending it reduces impacts to residential properties. So it might already, but we'll have to. If, I don't know if it would be helpful. We could do on top of this review today, we could do an assessment and provide that all to you, at least from our perspective, planning comments. So we could, if that could help at all, and see like, oh, we reviewed drainage, we found this, we reviewed lighting. I wish I had a little bit that. I wish I had that one for you today. It was just.
Wait, they,
Yes.
Oh, I'm sorry, who's resubmitting?
When I told the town of Brookhaven that we wouldn't have the comments in the 30 days they asked for because of our meeting date, she said, don't worry about it because they're gonna be resubmitting a revised plan.
Oh,
So whatever we do tonight is just preliminary comments based on a preliminary plan. She knows that
They're coming back with.
Okay,
more
good.
existing plans.
Yeah, and I'm-
Okay.
this is very preliminary.
all right. Yeah, because I'm
As you
now
can tell.
seeing in some of the sections, the details, that there's a gravity block retaining wall, but I don't see how high it is.
Okay. We can mention that.
Because I was looking for fence detail.
Which I don't think we got either. But I don't know.
And then, what is this?
Is there elevations anywhere?
Yeah, there is something, right? No, we never got. I don't know. I thought there were.
I wouldn't put a whole lot into it, because just as Cindy just mentioned, he's gonna come in with a revised plan,
Okay.
so I wouldn't go too.
So hopefully it'll come back to you.
Yeah, because I
Oh,
would,
there you go.
I would ask for more vegetation.
Yeah.
And
and definitely.
I think
everything
this
that
was a,
Ray
if
has
I'm
said.
guessing this was
Yeah.
like a maximum plan that
Okay,
he
I do
put
that.
in initially, and then he's gonna scale back.
okay.
He's also got 72 bathrooms in this project,
Oh yeah, we looked it up. I forgot.
because he's got six units in each one of those, of the 6 units there, he's got, those are divided into 6 more units. He's got 2 bathrooms per unit. So you calculate it out, it's 72 bathrooms. I don't even know if he
The
meets that.
wastewaters.
Right, I don't even know if he meets the wastewater for that, so.
Holy crap.
So I think his
No pun
revised plan is
intended.
gonna probably look pretty dramatically different than what we're looking at now.
Oh yeah.
Well, each one has each one has 2 bathrooms, you said?
Yeah.
Each, yes.
Who
Each one of the,
reviews?
1/6 of each one of the.
What board you
6
mean? At
things in
Brookhaven?
it.
It's the town
There's a
board.
bathroom in the front. and a
Really?
bathroom in the back.
Yeah, the town board abolished the planning board, so now it's Brookhaven Town.
So
is,
they take lead agency, they do secra, they do the whole thing.
they do everything. Yeah.
They do everything.
It's like if
They
the
eliminated the
board of
planning
trustees
board. I don't know
abolished
how they-
us, then they
Yeah.
did their
How,
own
how
stuff.
do they,
They gave themselves more money.
what do they work,
They still have a planning department, thankfully, but
it's a
What
lot.
was planning board council there? Planning board is busy.
Brookhaven, yeah.
Brookhaven Planning Board is the busiest planning board on the island probably these days, because,
Oh, there's no.
but now, yeah, so I don't know. I
Town
really
board.
don't know how they do it, quite
The
frankly.
the planning staff in Brookhaven now does what they did before, make recommendations, but it goes to their legislative town board, who took the functions of the planning
No,
board
I get it.
and the pay of the planning board, because they were paid.
Yeah.
Oh, they were at Brookhaven?
Brookhaven, you got like
Yeah.
$10,000 a year to be on the
Yeah,
planning
the
board.
chair might be a little bit
Oh,
more.
wow.
At least
And,
30, 40,000, probably.
The town board gets it.
Yeah. But
Makes
the
sense.
town board, you know, this is just chat, but the town board was very busy. They had town board meetings, when
I don't know
I
why
sat with
they
the
wanted
town
the
board
extra
meetings,
work. I don't
and
know.
many of them went for 6, 7 hours
Oh.
at town board meetings.
So
And then
I'm,
adding planning on top of it.
sorry, I'm reading this. 1, 4, 6, and 3 are single-use buildings.
Oh, okay.
Oh, gotcha.
2 are so
Oh,
2 and
4 are
5.
only-
Oh.
Okay, I see what you're saying.
And they're
But the
they're
whole-
saying that the single-user buildings, of those 4 need 101 parking spaces.
Probably the size of it, the
And the
10,000.
multi-user buildings need 80, so they have a total of 182 parking places. This is just a concrete asphalt,
Again,
It's 4 acres.
we're seeing a revised plan soon, apparently. so.
okay, 4 loading spaces.
So I guess I'll draft something based on tonight, send it, share it with the board.
And anything else, once you, if you look at the plans, anything else you
I'll
think
give you
of?
some comments.
Stand out.
Yeah, yeah.
and we're probably gonna see something very different.
Yeah, it's hard to come back completely, but
Okay, yeah, I mean,
we'll still do it though. It's still, I
Okay.
think it's still good the board weighs in. And,
all right.
Oh, yeah. Well, since we're
So,
taking the brunt of the traffic,
yeah,
Right,
And-
all of it.
all of it.
yeah. Actually,
100%.
we
Yes.
put Ray's comments in. All right, anything else on this?
The drainage, everything that,
clearing.
clearing.
Okay. So, can I get a motion to adjourn?
I'll make the motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Oh, thank you.
9:07.
Thank you, 9:07. Thank you.